We're back. Give me 1 second here. Hi, everybody. We'll start in a second or a minute. Apparently, I'm not allowed to say hold on because I said that a lot at the beginning of last chat. So somebody said I needed to stop saying that. Hi, Lynn. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Steph. Billy. Billy, when are you leaving? All right, so I made 2 people moderators. This is my first time using moderators. Last time it seemed to be okay until the end, which the last chat was 3.5 hours, and I did not even see the last 2 hours worth of comments because I was so busy going one by one. So we'll do it a little bit different this time. We might have a guest. Hi, why are you in London and still awake, Joe? Hi, Velocity Girl. Hi, Arbui. Hi, Carrie Ann. Thoughts arrive. Yeah, so we might have a guest. I'm not sure. Maybe in a half hour to an hour, but we'll see. Thank you, Lisa. Hi, Judy. Hey, Mrs. Thang. Yeah, so I just wanted to do these chats because people asked me to do them, and this one is just for people who did not make the September one, which was on a Sunday night. Hi, Kat. Hi, Stephanie. Hi, Deborah. Hi, Dee. Runner girl. I don't know what we're going to start with. I mean, there have been a few updates since my last September chat, so I guess I'll just start yapping about that soon. Uh-oh, we're at 97. Yeah, somebody said to stop looking at the number of people, because last time we had 500, and I was not going to promote this one or remind people because I prefer to have like 50 instead of 500, but because of our guest, I thought I might make people aware. Thank you, Kat. Hi, Close Spike. Hi, Tom. Welcome back. Thank you. I forgot to show these. Thank you, Tom. I always appreciate you. Tom, I replied to you like months ago when you wanted me to look into that case, and I replied with my email. I'm not sure if you two blocked it or not. Billy, you do always make me smile, but when are you leaving? Yeah, the last chat, I watched it the next day. Yeah, I hate doing these things if you couldn't tell. And like there were some pretty funny jokes about Kagan at the end of the last chat. I'm not telling who the guest. So this. Oh, you have to. I have to read what people say because some people just listen. They don't want to look at me. Sorry, I missed it. Who is the guest? I'm not going to say, but this person is a Delphi content creator, and they emailed me this morning. They're like, "Do you want to be on my show or whatever?" And I said no. So then I replied, and I said, "Well, I'm doing my last Delphi live chat tonight. If you want to do it." So they're busy, but they might join later. No, Tony is not my guest. Oh yeah, and I put this on slow mode because people said it went by too fast. So you have to wait 30 seconds, Billy, before you make your next joke. Hi, Teds. Thank you for staying up late. Thank you for everybody saying nice things. I'm going to try and like randomly go around to comments because, like I said, last time I missed the last 2 hours of comments. Did you listen to Unsolved and the whole DNR guy? Yes, we might as well start. So, hi everybody, let's go. I'm already upset or anxious that I'm missing comments. All right, so did you listen to the Unsolved, which is a apparently new YouTube channel, and the whole DNR guy? Yes, I watched the 3 videos, and it's DNR is apparently the initials from some guy who was in the same county jail as Kagan. I guess he had a drug charge. He was only there for, I think, maybe a few months, and he just got out. And apparently, he was like contacting Delphi content creators, except he never contacted me, saying he wanted to tell what Kagan told him. And I honestly don't totally remember what he said. I think he said that Kagan told him in jail that Tony was using Anthony shots to set up a meeting at the bridge with the girls. Tony, I think by himself, went on the bridge. Something happened. So Tony comes back to the car and says to Kagan, I need your help cleaning up. I'm not totally positive that I got these details right, just to be honest, but I think this is the gist of it. So then I guess Kagan and Tony went to the murder site, and then they ended up going back to the car. So it's like, how does that even match up with people not seeing them on the trails? And were they really parked at CPS? Because somebody, or actually, yeah, that same guy said that Kagan said that Tony knew Ron Logan. So did somebody park at Ron Logan's house? And I was wondering, did they take 2 different cars? Because if you saw that, whatever, that mess I did, my video a month ago, that woman who was in the audience, I guess it was Julie Melvin, she said that her friend drove by CPS building every day. And he said that on the day of the murders, he remembers seeing a white truck. And obviously, Tony has a white truck. But Kagan apparently has been yapping to a lot of people from jail via text message and apparently other prisoners. And he said that he waited in the red Jeep, which Tony has. And obviously, we all know that Kagan is a liar. And he said that he did not drive. So I'm wondering, did they take 2 different cars? Did they search Marathon gas station to see for somebody to maybe drive the red Jeep there? Or I don't know. I'm kind of confused about how all these cars match up. So I don't know. That's that for right now. Let me go through these comments. Thank you. I don't really like to highlight nice comments, but I don't want to ignore people. So thank you, Tennessee Prepper. Okay. Hi, S Jab. Somebody said hi, King, last time, and I thought they were calling me a king, but I think it's somebody else's username. Hi, Typical Thelms. Hi, Eric. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Yes, some people have some crazy jokes. You do not have to smash the like button like Kagan smashed soda and potato chips from the commissary. Let's see. Yeah, so I've seen somebody keep writing this, that they think a detective Kevin Hammond is the killer, but I think, John, you're the one who writes that under multiple videos of mine, but I don't know. I have not looked into him, to be honest. But honestly, I think you're the only person who's saying that. No offense. Don't be mad. Hi, Jane. Thanks for joining. Hope this isn't your last live show. Well, for now it is. I would say the only thing that could get me to do another one is if there is some kind of major break, or if there's an arrest, I'll do a live chat probably that same night. But do you guys think an arrest is coming? I don't know. It seems to be a lot of stuff is pointing towards Kagan saying that Tony's involved, but what's the delay? And why has it been like 5.5 years that they've known about the Kleins and nothing's happened? Hi, Rob. Thanks for joining. Susan says, do you think TT, Travis Trexler, the Klein of the cousin of the Kleins, could be involved? I don't know, because he got arrested for DOI recently. And I know Fig Solve said that he thinks that that was the house where the police said, "Oh, Kagan, we don't think you committed murder because we know your phone was at this house on Country Club Road in Peru, which is like 40 minutes from Delphi, watching adult videos." But if Kagan is now saying that he was at Delphi, who was using Kagan's phone in Peru? Oh my gosh. Billy is very funny. I have to say that. He's like one of the funniest subscribers, or if not the funniest. I'd rather see Kagan naked than have this be the last live stream. Well, commit a crime in Peru and you can see him naked in the showers once every 2 weeks. Oh yeah, I have a sense of humor if you don't notice that. Let's see. Oh my gosh, Wom Tepster gave me money. Who that picture, like who spent, first of all, that's totally something I would do, so I'm not mad at you. Do you think alternate dimensions are a play here? No, I don't believe that. But thank you for the $2 that YouTube gets 30% of. I'm sure they appreciate it. Wom. Turquoise Kitten, if TK still has the Jeep, has to have evidence. He got a new gray Jeep after this red one, so who knows who's the current owner of it. But what I was thinking is this. So if supposedly there's a camera across from CPS. So if you're looking at a satellite, you see Hoosier Heartland Highway. I have to do this the opposite way because I'm on camera, opposite side. To the right of that, east, is CPS, and over here on the opposite side of the road is some business that's kind of removed from the, I guess it's Highway 300 or Road 300. But if you think, even if that business has a bad webcam or whatever, surveillance camera, they can at least tell if it's a white truck like Tony has or a red Jeep like Tony has. So if the police saw that within the day of or the day after they found them murdered, they think maybe the killer is driving a white truck or a red Jeep. And then on the 25th, they raided the Klein's house. Wouldn't you think they would notice, okay, that's a matching white truck or red Jeep? And then the next day, the FBI said, oh, the Kleins are not involved. They did not specifically say the Kleins because their names were not released for like, whatever, 4.5 years. But there's so many things that don't add up in this case. All right, let's see. Hi, analyst, sorry. There are lots of ways in and out of the trails, plus lots of parking spots, but it'd be a long hike from the CPS building to the crime scene and back. Correct. It's like over 10 minutes. And people said that, or obviously that teenage girl and her friends saw what she thought was the bridge guy around 1:30. Susan likes the slow-mo. It's easier to read. I'm happy you're happy. Brown Skittle said, just listen to the latest Murder Sheet podcast talking about a burn pit at grandparents' house. When did that come out? I don't remember hearing that. Hi, Dave. Comment section sex symbol. I remember that name. Word, this is how true crime should be done. When KK's lips are moving, he tends to be lying 1000%. To use one of his favorite expressions. Yeah, that's why I gave him the nickname Kagokio. Jane, thank you very much. I appreciate anytime somebody gives anything. I was able to renew my website, which has my files. So thank you to everybody who donated last time. Stephanie, I know you were one of the people, so thank you. Hi, Illegally Blonde. Thank you for loving my laugh. Oh, I'm the king. Okay. I'm going to try to like get to comments about the case and not about me. But I don't want to like ignore people who say nice things. Thank you, Dave. I appreciate it. Lisa thinks Kagan looked awful in the last photos we got. Well, I guess he doesn't have Photoshop in his prison photographer. Hi, Jules. Okay, so let me, I thought that said, does KK have a band? I'll get to both of these things. So does KK have a bond? People say that his bond or whatever was $260,000, which apparently you have to pay 10% and you can get out, but apparently nobody likes Kagan enough to bail him out. Does Kagan have a band? So in my video, my latest 4.5 hour video, I said that like I spent like almost 20 hours trying to figure out if Kagan truly created those songs, and I could not figure it out. But luckily, one of my viewers used another app called Soundhound, and he found that Kagan stole all those songs from a guy named Christian Radke, Radke, who I contacted and made him aware of it. And he said he's in the process of taking Kegokio's stuff down, which I was surprised. Like, if you Shazam those songs, it comes up as Kegan and is on iTunes and stuff. So it's like, how did he pull that off? What I think happened is he like sped up the song. So like the normal process to find out who sang them was messed up because it was at like 105 speed of what the original Christian Radke songs were. So that was nice to at least get some clarification on that, even though it has nothing to do with the case, really. Oh my gosh. Kat, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Okay, clarification. No, I am calling you a king of frustrating cold cases and making fun of the news. Thank you. Yeah, it's so frustrating. It's like I'm horrible at solving these crimes, but obviously nobody else has solved this or Missy Beaver, so but it's frustrating. Yeah, so let's talk about this. Hi, Holly. I don't think an arrest is coming, at least not this year. I mean, what I was thinking is like they told Kagan in his August 2020 interview with the police, we know it's your dad. So why has it taken over 2 years since that time to even, they haven't even charged Tony yet? Were they waiting for Kagan to finally start telling the truth? Obviously, I think August 19th is when Kagan left the county jail and became in possession of the Indiana State Police. And there's rumors that he went to the Wabash River, the bridge near his dad's house, where it's rumored, it's not confirmed, that Kagan may have said that they came back from Delphi and maybe threw stuff from the crime out the window of their car out into the river. So was it the murder knife? Because after about 5 weeks, the police stopped looking. So I don't know if they found a burner phone, the knife that was used to kill the girls, or what. I don't know how long it takes to even try to find DNA off of a knife that's been in the river for 5 years. And I doubt a phone, even a burner phone, would have any data on it sitting in the water for 5 years. Salty Beach, I think I kind of just answered it. I hope so, but I don't know. I have no idea. That's the honest answer. I believe KK has six-figure cash bond. Yeah, I think that's what I just said. Sorry, I'm behind on the comments already, and I'm stressing already. Anna thinks an arrest for the homicide is coming, but does not think it'll be Kagan or Tony. Like I said, I cannot see Kagan or Tony as being the guy on the bridge. So, I mean, I'm fine being wrong, but who is it if it's not them? I mean, Kagan apparently is saying it was Tony, but everybody who knows Tony says his voice is higher. Obviously, if he's trying to be authoritative to two young girls, he's going to lower his voice, but I don't know. And I was wondering, like, where would we be now if the December 6, 2021, I guess some journalist had found Kagan's 2020 interview and is going to maybe like publish it. So they contacted the police, and I think that's why that whole stuff kicked off in December 2021. Mrs. Thang says, yeah, Tony runs around town without a care in the world. Yeah, he was photographed like a month ago watching cars go around in circles at the track. Hi, Tommy. Stephanie, Your question, they both make me nervous. Let's see. Chris Owens, I'm curious, is Kelsey still PO'd at Libby? I heard that at first. She was really, really PO'd at her about the Anthony Shots thing and for keeping it a secret. I mean, I'm pretty sure she said well, I don't want to put words in her mouth or misremember, but I mean, she thought she knew everything about her sister. And obviously, most eighth grade girls who are talking to a guy who's 19 are not going to tell their sister, oh, yeah, I'm talking to a 19-year-old guy and I'm in eighth grade. So I can understand Kelsey being upset. Hi, Just Pam. Yeah, I'm going to Hawaii tomorrow morning and I haven't started packing. So I'll probably do this for like 2.5 hours. We'll see. Let's see. Fig Solves said, cross the creek 3 times video was intriguing. Yeah, Fig Solves did a video. I forget what the title was, but he's kind of said that instead of using the trail, it was thought that possibly the killer went back across the creek and kind of, I guess, zigzagged through the woods along the creek and then eventually walked on Hoosier Heartland Highway, because somebody may have said they saw somebody walking on Hoosier Heartland Highway with a duffel bag, which some people speculated could have been inside the bridge guy's jacket to change clothes or to have some stuff for, unfortunately, killing the girls. It has been reported that the red Jeep was sold June 2017. Okay. No, my guest is not Fig Solves. He was on real quick last time. Wonder if they tracked down the Jeep or truck. I'm sure they could, but who knows what would still be in it. Hi, Charmaine. Thank you very much. Murder Sheet says more evidence was burned at grandma's house. Well, some people I thought said Tony burned his clothes at his house. So I'm not sure if you're confused or if I just have not heard that other thing about the grandma. Because apparently somebody contacted the grandma via Facebook or something, and she said that she did not see Kegan or Tony very often except for holidays. And obviously that was at least Kegan's alibi. And another thing I saw last week, I looked at Tony's mom's Facebook and she posted that her Facebook was hacked. No, it was not me. A red Jeep would stand out. Yeah, I mean, if police have that camera from across the CPS building, like I said, how could they know that a suspicious vehicle is a red Jeep, and then they go to raid the Kleins 10 days later and there's a red Jeep outside? Or even the Kleins probably took the red Jeep to the airport when they went to Vegas, but I don't know, stuff doesn't add up to me. Will we be able to replay this video? Unfortunately, yes, probably. Dave says, none of the latest info makes any sense. If Kagan had solid information about Tony being the killer, wouldn't Tony either kill himself or confess? Yeah, I feel like Tony's the type of person that if he knew he's about to be arrested for killing 2 teenage girls and go to jail, he would have put a bullet through his head. Hi, Sue. Thank you for joining. I know your name. I remember someone saying there was a broke down car and the person told them they were waiting for their dad. This was the day of the murder. Yeah, Fig Solves did a video on that. It's within the past month or so. And he said that guy was identified. And on my last live, I showed the guy who's actually, apparently the police cleared that guy. So that was not Kagan or related to the murders. XTY says, I'm not convinced it's the Kleins. I think they're involved possibly somehow, but it's like, why is it taking so long? And at what point are they going to arrest either one of them for it? Like I said, obviously Kagan seems to be talking and blaming Tony, but who knows what's up with that. Cassie says, I've seen some other theories. Anyone heard of Ron Logan's neighbor, Brad Weber? I have heard of his name. I've heard that, I mean, his mom, I don't know. I think there's some conflicting information if she was away or not, because there's somebody who on the south side of the bridge, which is the side that the girls encountered the guy on the bridge, somebody saw a suspicious looking guy around, I think, 1 o'clock. I don't know. Sorry to change what I'm talking about. But then that guy, if it was the killer at 1 o'clock on the south side, he then a half hour later was by Freedom Bridge, and then another half hour later he's back crossing the bridge. I don't know. Some people say Kagan doesn't have the stamina to do that. Mrs. JSV says, I say the sketches are fairly close to TK and KK, in my opinion. Well, I mean, why at the August 2018 or 19 press conference did they say, okay, everybody, here's a new sketch that looks like a 20-year-old thin guy? I mean, that doesn't look like Kagan or Tony. Murder Sheet came out with that episode today. Oh, I've not seen anything recent from Murder Sheet today. Let's see. Hi, everybody in Europe needs to go to bed. It's way too late. Let's see. Oh my gosh, I'm already way behind on comments. Has anyone listened to Donna Serafina on the Delphi case? She has solved high-profile crimes. No, I've never heard of her. Hi, Fig. Thanks for joining. I just promoted some of your videos, although I'm sure you wrote that like 15 minutes ago. Let's see. Melanie said something. Wasn't there a report of a man in a red Jeep? No, it was some kind of work truck. And like I said, it seems to be like that one guy had been identified later. The simulation says, I don't think there will ever be a successful prosecution because Indiana State Police screwed this up from day one. I agree. I mean, to me, I was thinking today, were there too many cooks in the kitchen, as people say? It occurred in Carroll County. Well, it occurred in Delphi. So the Delphi police, I think there's a Carroll County sheriff, Indiana State Police, and the FBI. And apparently there's been rumors that there were competing, I guess, theories from within those different law enforcement agencies. So did stuff get dropped, or I don't know. It's like, there's a lot of things that don't make sense to me in this case, and including what law enforcement did. Came out today, KK told police they destroyed evidence in burn pit. That's interesting. Although I had heard that before, but I didn't share it with anybody. Anyway, keep it moving. Nifty Caffeine says, I think it was Carter who said, we'd be surprised by who the murderer is. Would we really be surprised about the clients? No, we would not. I mean, especially Tony, like he has such a history of violence. So is there a link to my website with my files? Go to tomwebster.com/Delphi, or just go to tomwebster.com. On the first page, it says Missy Beavers or Delphi. Just click those links and it has all of the files I collected through my hundreds of hours researching both of these cases just to try and help people save time. I'm so sweet. No, I'm kidding. Hi, I seem to be very popular in Europe. I'm kidding. Let's see. So not to diss anybody, but it seems like a lot of rumors and stuff are getting mixed. I'm not dissing you, Anna. As I recall, a young female reported the young man waiting for his dad. From what I believe, it was a woman who was driving. The young female was the teenager who I think had 3 friends who had been around the trails, and they were headed back toward Freedom Bridge. And that young girl texted her mom, I think around 1:26 or 1:27 p.m. And she, I guess, used that time to say, yeah, I saw the shady looking guy down by Freedom Bridge. I think she said hi and said that he didn't reply. He just gave her the evil eye or something. Laura says they sure have chirps, though, in prison, their own version of Twitter. So, yeah, if you hear the word chirps or chirping, it's just like texting for prisoners, which I can't believe they allow these people to have some of these communications in jail. Obviously, Kagan has not been convicted of anything yet. I won't make a joke, but even so, it's like kind of crazy that what they allow. Fresh Horatio, have you seen Dead Poets posts? No, I'd never heard that name. About how a 16-year-old girl saw BG when walking from the bridge. Okay, so I just said this, but this adds something more. About how a 16-year-old girl saw Bridge Guy when walking from the bridge to the house Kelsey German went to her boyfriend's house. He is dead now, but was local and interviewed people there that day. Honestly, I'm not familiar with that, so I can't really speculate or comment. Sorry. I know that Kelsey went to her boyfriend's house before she was supposed to go to work. So this has a little bit of new information. Hi, Fred. Murder Sheet new episode said warrant searched grandparents' home for burnt pit evidence. I didn't know that. Wow. And like I said last time, I showed a story that somebody else found. I think it was the Inquisitor YouTube channel about in late April, early May of 2019, which is, I guess, a few weeks after that press conference. They do something like an annual cleanup of the. Uh-oh, my guests are here. Hold on. Hi, guys. I'll be with you in a minute. Where was I talking about? Oh, so they did a cleanup of the river, and apparently somebody found very close to the Klein's house a .380 gun, which Kagan had tweeted about, like when he was a teenager, that he owned one. So might as well not make my guests wait any longer. Let me see if I can. How do I do this? Add to stream. Hi.
Hi. Hi, Tom.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Sorry we're late.
No, it's fine. I'm just yapping and trying to catch up to comments. So for people who don't know you, I think everybody who knows about Delphi knows about you guys. You are Kevin and Anya from the Murder Sheet.
Yes. Yes, that's right.
So, sorry, I'm really nervous right now. You guys had a new episode today. I just found out about this. I did not hear it. So would you mind sharing the latest news?
Yeah, totally. So the latest news that we reported, we got from a number of sources, confirmed that there was another search going on at the same time as the water search, also in Peru. And this one was of a burn pit in the backyard of the property owned by Kegan Klein's grandparents. So basically, the story is that the story that Kegan Klein gave investigators prompted them to want to check out that burn pit because, according to Kegan Klein, who, as we all know, has some problems with the truth, basically stated that evidence concerning the murder ended up burned in that pit. And so the results of that search, according to our sources, was negative. They did not find anything.
And that's what you'd expect, because a burn pit is something where trash and other items are repeatedly burned in there. And this obviously happened over 5.5 years ago. So even if there was evidence in the burn pit at one time, it would have been burned, and then other things would have been put on top of it and burned. So it was unlikely that they would find anything, but it is encouraging that they're still out there trying to follow any plausible lead that they can.
And from our perspective, we try to report on what the investigation is doing, and so it was interesting to kind of learn that, everyone's seeing the water search. That's very interesting, very public, happening in a public place, obviously, but there's also this private search going on a bit closer to home for Kegan Klein, and sort of thinking about it as there's often things going on in the background that we miss at the time and then hear about later. So this is one of those.
So I guess they interviewed Tony's mother to see if, I mean, she had any comment about Tony coming over there to burn stuff.
We don't know the status of her cooperation with the investigation, so we're not sure. In terms of how the law would work, she would either need to give permission, or the property owner currently would need to give permission for them to look in the burn pit, or there would have to be a search warrant. And we don't know which sort of method was used here.
The one time we tried to talk with Tony's mother, she made it clear in a polite but firm way that she wasn't interested in having conversation with us, and so we've respected that, and we haven't bothered her since.
Yeah, we don't want to harass people in this case. Obviously,
Mhm.
it's, I'm sure, a very trying position to be in, to have, a situation like that happen in your family.
All right. Somebody just said, ask them about Trexler and Country Club Road. Can you guys add anything to that rumor?
No, not really at this point. It's sort of one of those rumors we're very interested in. I mean, we're sort of interested in hearing anything, sort of like yourself, kind of just looking at different angles. But I would say we don't really have anything to add to that at this point. Our current episode gets into some of the country club, um, you know, road and the Paw Paw Pike sort of location, and we kind of reference that when talking about the search of the burn pit, because it's that kind of grandparent connection, but we don't know what, if anything, there's a connection regarding Travis Trexler or that whole thing. But yeah.
Anybody watching, leave a comment that you guys want to ask Kevin and Anya. So obviously this is last minute, so I don't have a lot of questions for you guys, but I was wondering, I know you have some information that you can't share, but have you come across anything that when you read it, your immediate reaction was holy S,
Oh my
that
god,
shocked you?
this is old, so apology. I'm sure I can think of something a little bit newer, but I think when we first got the Kagan Klein transcript with his interview with police, when we looked at the portion of that concerning the connection to the Delphi case, and the kind of detectives repeatedly saying, Libby wanted to meet with Anthony Schatz, you were in communication, you told her friend that you were supposed to meet her that day. I think that for me was you know, oh my goodness, that was a chilling moment.
Can you guys clarify, because how did this come out in December? Was it some local reporter had gotten a hold of it and she was going to do a story? Do you have any clarification on that? Because I'm kind of confused.
We interviewed the reporter who actually broke the story of connecting Kagan Klein to Anthony Schatz. And from our understanding, she had sources telling her about Kagan Klein for a long while ahead of her publication. And that at some point, after the after Jeremy Pierce of the Indiana State Police sort of put out the video that everyone sort of saw regarding, like, hey, we think this account may be connected to the murders.
Mhm.
I think the next day, Wish TV, came out with the report from Demi Johnson. We don't know all of the specifics. Obviously, I think there's sourcing agreements there that.
Yeah, when we interviewed her, she was a bit closed mouth, and you kind of have to respect reporters when they're a little bit confidential about how they get information.
Yeah, if she gets too if she gets too careless with explaining
Yeah.
the ins and outs of everything, she could end up really burning a source, and obviously she doesn't want to do that. So, but she basically explained that she had known about Kagan for quite some time, and then basically was able to corroborate it all with public records. Like, it was out there, just nobody knew all the pieces to connect it.
Mhm. I was wondering, do you guys know why they only asked for people who interacted with Anthony Schatz and not the Emily Ann account, which seemed to initiate a lot of these conversations?
I don't know I don't know, like, a concrete reason. If I had to do some informed speculation, so this is just my opinion, obviously. I wonder if it was because Anthony Schatz was more of the public facing account that was being used to engage with underage kids, whereas Emily Ann, from the transcript, almost looks like there's a lot of discussion, possibly with other pedophiles, basically
Oh,
trading
yeah.
CSAM. So that's my, like, guess, but there might be an alternative explanation that I'm not thinking of.
Now, I guess have you heard this latest thing about one of Kagan's supposed jailmates is saying what Kagan told him? What are your thoughts on that? If you want to share.
Yeah, yeah, happy to.
Yeah, we've heard that, and our understanding is that Kagan has himself been telling a story to police, and so it's not clear to us if the story he tells police is the same story he's telling his cellmates, and we also don't know what relationship either one of those stories has to the truth.
Yeah, it's kind of a situation where you have a known liar in the center of everything. They could be very well telling different groups different things, or things can kind of play out like a game of telephone a bit, like details are getting changed
Mhm.
over time. So it's certainly interesting, and we're certainly not dismissive of it, but it's hard to know like what everything means when you have somebody who doesn't have a lot of credibility to start with.
And
But it seems. Go ahead.
I think it's fair to say that anything that comes out is already known to police. So police are not hearing the details of this cellmate story for the first time by going on YouTube. I think they've
Mhm.
already had that information. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, that's my sense that I get as well.
But it seems so weird to me. Like, why would Kagan start lying about being involved? Do you have any insight? Is he trying to get his CSAM charges lessened? But I mean, he can't like just say, "Oh, my dad did it," and have it be a lie.
Right. And I think for certain, just knowing a bit about his character, I think he would definitely love to, not, to walk on those very serious CCM charges. Um, but it's hard to really know what the strategy is beyond that, I guess. Or if it's a situation where, if I help the police, maybe they can help me, it's hard to know without, knowing what's going on. I will say it sort of seems like, in the sense of like what he's doing strategically, it seems kind of bizarre for us to, he's communicating with so many different people, telling different people different stories. We
Mhm.
had a brief text exchange with him that ended when he was trying to demand that we pay him hundreds of dollars for an interview, and we're not going to do that.
And it was surprising because recently we got his commissary records. And I think a lot of people, us included, kind of assumed he was probably pulling this scam with a lot of people
Yeah.
and really raking in the money. But at the end of September, for the last date we had, his commissary account was down to just like 36 cents.
So he was
or something.
broke. So he was
So if
desperate.
somebody were to be foolish enough as to give him a few $100s, that would be like a life-changing amount of money for him.
And we were really happy to see that no one seemingly did. So, we kind of assumed that maybe people were, but I think he was just asking out of desperation. But that is to say that, like, sometimes he can kind of give the impression that he, is being strategic or being wily, and it's sort of like the truth turns out to be a little bit different.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past him to think, okay, I've talked to these women who've given me some money. Let me just keep talking to new people. I'll get more money.
Yes,
Exactly.
exactly.
I think he
Otherwise,
knows a lot of people out there, including you and us and probably everybody watching, is very interested in what truly happened at Delphi and what information he has and that he might be able to share. And
mhm.
so he knows that a lot of people are probably tempted to give him money. And I'm very, very happy that, again, no one seems to have been foolish enough to do that.
Well, I think it's interesting for like he's been in jail for 2 years before it seems like he actually finally cracked or whatever. But I was wondering, you guys said that Tony was there like 4 days before the 19th or something. What do you think? I mean, what could have happened where Tony shows up and then Kagan, like a few days later, maybe throws Tony under the bus, or had he already done it? I don't know. It just seems so weird to me.
It's a great question. I wish wish we could be a fly on the wall, but we can say, so timeline wise, December 2021, Barbara McDonald, in her HLN interview with Kagan Klein, he tells her that, my dad and I are estranged. He doesn't come to
Yeah.
visit me. I'm his only son. How could he do this? He also implies some estrangement in the 2020 August interview. And that all of that could have been true, because all we have is after that, essentially, and this sort of like a bit of a pause, and then Tony starts becoming a regular visitor again. So we don't know whether he was always visiting and Kagan was just lying in those two interviews, or if if he was telling the truth and they just kind of reconnected at some point. And it's hard to say if there's been like a cessation, right? Because we only have up till the end of, sort of towards the end of September.
Yeah.
So for all we know, there could have been more Tony visits since, but they're just not appearing on our records. But if he hasn't visited since, then that does indicate that things came to a full stop around the time that he went into Indiana State Police custody. And I guess we don't want to speculate too much, but that does seem interesting.
And these are not in-person visits; these are like video visits. And
So
so it's important to remember that law enforcement is monitoring all of those video visits, so they know what we don't know. They were a fly on that wall, and they know what was said in those visits with Tony, the last visit and all the other visits.
There's no expectation of privacy in these things because
yeah.
you're incarcerated.
Do you know if Tony ever went in person and when was the last time? I don't remember that from your latest or the episode I saw about the commissary.
I think at this point the visits are just done by video.
All right.
As
Is
far as we know, yeah, maybe earlier there were some in person, but not that we have documented at this point.
We only had the records for this calendar year.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So one of the reasons I wanted you guys on, because obviously you're probably the premier source for Delphi, and a lot of people think want to ask you questions. So Walton Simon says, ask them if they've ever spoken to Doug Carter, and if so, what was it about?
Unfortunately, I don't think we can comment on that.
No, you've met him though in person though.
Uh,
Not related to Delphi.
yes, I once had a brief meeting with him in person, but other than that, I don't think we can
Yeah.
comment.
That seems suspicious. I'm kidding. Okay, moving on.
A lot of our answers are kind of be very boring.
No, it's fine. I don't expect you guys to reveal something you should not.
The one time I met him in person was years ago, and it wasn't very interesting. I'm an attorney for the sister of a victim in the Burgashef case. I was at a press conference as a guest where the sister of one of the victims was speaking. Doug Carter was speaking, and so I exchanged a few words with him prior to the press conference. So there's no mystery there.
No, yeah, not a big deal.
So this just popped into my mind. Do you think Doug Carter has changed his mind since the April 2019 press conference about who did this?
Hard to say. Hard to say. I think a lot of people understandably focus a lot about what exactly Doug Carter is saying, which is fair. He's the Indiana State Police Superintendent, and he has certainly taken a very public role in the case. But we tend to kind of be more interested in like what's going on behind the scenes and like less in sort of piecing together some of like, oh, he said this, so it must mean that, or he must be talking to a profiler. And we kind of tend to be like, you know, a little bit more ambivalent about all that. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
SP74 says, did Kagan tell police where he parked to wait for his dad? Obviously, there's rumors saying he waited in the red Jeep. Was it at CPS or somewhere else?
That's a great question. And we don't know. We don't basically most of the detail. And, you know, sometimes we can't, we make agreements with sources and we don't necessarily report certain things that could be sensitive. In that case, we have no idea. Like that's not a detail.
And we're as curious as everyone
Yeah,
else.
we would be very curious to know that.
So before you joined, I said that I know that somebody did a YouTube video after the murders from CPS and they pointed it at that building and they zoomed in across the street. You know what I'm talking about, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it appeared that there was a video surveillance camera there. Do you know if that was there at the time of the murders?
We don't know.
All right. What else was I going to say? Oh, so the latest guy said that Tony Klein knew Ron Logan. Can you confirm that or no?
We have not been able to confirm that. We've tried. We have asked around to a lot of people who knew Tony Klein
very well,
including some people who identify themselves as friends of Tony Klein, either current friends or one-time friends. And we've yet to find anyone who says that Tony Klein ever mentioned Ronald Logan to them,
or that there was even a connection there, like you know, not friends but acquaintances or colleagues or anything. And
obviously, you can't prove a negative.
No,
I can say some of the people we talked to are people you would have expected to know whether or not Tony Klein was friends with Ron Logan.
We don't want to throw cold water on someone else's reporting without, you know, there may be something that we're missing. You know, maybe there's that one person we haven't talked to yet who has some information, but we've talked to dozens of people in Peru and a lot of them who very, you know, knew Tony Klein quite well. And we're a little surprised that came out, given that nobody that we've asked directly has ever said, oh yeah.
Well, it seems like some people, obviously you see Tony Klein hunts deer. Yeah. And some people I think said that Ron Logan's property, he allowed people to hunt deer. So I think some people might assume that Tony may have ended up over on Ron's property and known him that way.
Right. And, you know, it's certainly a reasonable conjecture, but I also think people should probably I think there's a tendency with human beings to want to connect everything that seems like slightly related, and that can be helpful, but it can also be a bit jumping to conclusions in a case that not all the information is known yet, if that makes sense.
Do you guys think it's Ron Logan on the bridge? I don't.
No.
Some people totally disagree with us.
Okay, I think it's one of those things where I think reasonable people can disagree with certain aspects of this case. But I personally think the image on the bridge is also, it's kind of not super clear. Anyways, I don't know if people should be making a ton of solid conclusions based on a very blurry, pixelated image.
Yeah, I don't know if he was involved some other way, because obviously I was really surprised by that Ron Logan affidavit saying he was near the bridge and he's on the phone at 2:07 or 2:09 or something like that. But like I said in my video, which, I mean, for Ron to have been on the bridge and on the phone, it just didn't, the timing didn't add up to me to have it be him.
Yeah, and I think the affidavit also, an affidavit's not supposed to take it easy. It's not supposed to like weigh both sides. It's supposed to go hard at the target of the affidavit in order to convince the judge to violate that person's civil liberties, essentially, and like, revoke their privacy. And so basically, some of the language sort of seemed a little bit more wishy-washy in our opinion than I think some people necessarily picked up on. There was a lot of like, approximately and like near, and even some people with some expertise who reached out to us and we've had sort of private conversations were sort of had some qualms about some of it, how it was worded, some of the geographical elements, sort of saying that this looks a bit more sloppy than you might think. And by sloppy, I don't mean like it was an unreasonable conjecture for them to want to search this man's property. He had a violent background, and I think that is absolutely, you need to look into that.
It would have been irresponsible for them not to look.
Yeah, I mean, completely. Yeah.
I can't figure out. It's like, why did it take a month to search his house? Where, I mean, I would think if two girls' bodies were found on somebody's property, why would they not search the same day?
Yeah.
Do you have any like? I don't have a lot of experience with like legal stuff. Do you guys know?
I have a speculation. I have a piece of speculation that I don't know if it's completely, it's been, take it with a grain of salt because it's just my imagination essentially. But like, I almost wonder, did he give them permission at first to just look around, and like they were kind of relying on that at first, and then later on things soured, and so they had to go get for justification from the court. Do you have anything?
That's plausible.
Yeah.
Certainly, with the benefit of hindsight, there's many decisions early on in this investigation that seem inexplicable and very difficult to understand, quite frankly.
Yeah. All right. So moving gears, is the ski mask guy event substantiated by anything other than Kagan's transcript? Is there a police report? I know people have tried to get a copy of it, but they say it's not available. Do you have any further information about that ski mask incident?
So no, we don't. We have not been able to get anything.
We've also tried.
Yeah, as well. One thing we will say, in Indiana, there's a very, very how would you say, strict.
It's very difficult to get records like that in Indiana, especially if it's an incident involving a juvenile.
Yes, and so they often take a very strict interpretation of the law in terms of what they need to give out, and so when you have something that's involving a juvenile linked to an ongoing case, we're not that surprised. It's very hard to get any sort of records around here, unfortunately. But this is one where there may be some justification to that, given that it's possibly tied to an ongoing homicide.
We also, in the transcript, there was the incident where Tony Klein really violently abused his stepson, Bart. Mm-hmm. And the records for that also we've not been able to obtain, but for what it's worth, that incident clearly occurred.
Yeah, that was corroborated by Bart, who spoke on the record with us.
Yeah, I heard that episode. I mean, I can't believe, was that the thing that Tony ended up going to jail on weekends for? Was that incident or something else? Because I remember I read Tony did go to jail only on weekends, but I don't know which of his many offenses that was for.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
I'm not sure either.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's incidents involving juveniles are sealed. It's very hard to get information on. He certainly had a lot of offenses against young people, women he abused, women he sexually harassed over the telephone.
Yeah.
This is random, Kevin. I don't mean to put you on the spot. Why does a certain YouTuber think you are Lee Kerr?
I have no idea. I can tell you in as strong of terms as possible. I'm not Lee Kerr.
Neither am I.
I did not even.
Neither am I. I don't know if I even believe Lee Kerr.
I don't. I didn't even follow this case particularly closely until shortly before we released our first episode. And I think hopefully one thing we've shown is that when we get information, we release it under our own names. I don't know what the advantage would be for me to choose to release information under a fake name. I don't understand what the point of that is.
Yeah.
And as for Lee Kerr in general, it seems he's one of those people where he releases a lot of information and some people say, well, some of it is true, maybe some of it isn't. And if someone's releasing information that some of it's true and some of it isn't, how are you supposed to, as an audience member, how are you supposed to be able to determine what you can trust and what you can't trust?
Yeah, we put our names out there because then there's accountability. And if we mess something up, or people can say Anya and Kevin did that, like they need, what's going on, But I think, that we kind of also, I think people overestimate how much free time we have to sort of mess around on the internet. And it's like we don't really do much social media anymore because some of it can be very toxic, and frankly it's just kind of a lot, right? And so we try to put most of our time into reporting stuff and then putting it out under our names so people can kind of peruse it, but yeah, that's.
Let me just give a quick explanation because I'm not sure that everybody who's watching knows what Lee Kerr is. So people talk about this case on Reddit and Facebook. And approximately, I guess, a year ago, somebody created a profile with a name you can see there, Lee Kerr, which is like leaker of information. And I guess they started telling facts and they did a Q&A. And then it seemed like, I honestly don't remember whatever the person said. I read the answers and I moved on. But I know that there was something, I think on Facebook, a guy apparently replied kind of in the same tone as Lee Kerr using his real name. So people think it was that guy who was maybe married to a woman who worked in the clerk's office or something. They thought that was how he was getting his information. But I just wanted to give that quick overview. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah. And I just feel like all of that to me, that's not how, I don't think that's how coverage of the case should go, like whispers and rumors and like anonymous people hiding. I mean, I can understand that people want to be confidential and not necessarily, we certainly rely on some anonymous sources who we're not going to name, but that's after verifying them ourselves. And then our names are out there. All that stuff is just so bizarre to me. Cause I come from a journalism background. So I'm like used to, you can't just, if I wanted to write an article on Walmart, I couldn't just go to Walmart leaker 55 on Facebook and say, hey, what's the scoop? What's going on with those SKUs? And I would get fired.
Do you know if law enforcement took the red Jeep into process for evidence? Somebody said, obviously it's been so, they're looking at each other to say, will we tell?
Yeah. Our understanding is yes.
Yes.
They did get it. Okay,
yeah,
at some point.
It's been so many years since this incident occurred. It's hard to imagine if there would be much usable information or evidence in there.
It's very unfortunate.
Police have said that an arrest is not imminent. Do you think this is real or another mislead, such as when they confirmed there was no catfishing?
When
the problem?
What's that statement from? The not imminent.
I think that statement was made on the day, that weekend day.
That whole mess.
That whole mess. Jeez Louise.
And I think
just to say, for people who don't know, I think 2 weekends ago there was a rumor Tony had gotten arrested at 6 a.m. And what I was thinking, and I said in my last chat, police have been working on this case for so long. When they finally have all the evidence to arrest Tony or anybody else, they're going to have a press release ready to go. The family is going to know first, and Kelsey's going to be tweeting it within 5 minutes. So guessing oh, did Tony get arrested? So then that's when the police, there's so many rumors, police said an arrest is not imminent. So do you think that is real?
Yeah.
Or when do you think an arrest may happen?
We don't know. Honestly, it's hard to guess because I think there's so many moving parts in an investigation that's sort of been going on for this long, and they want to, people want to get it right? They mean double jeopardy. You can't mess up the first trial, basically.
Yeah.
get them. And yeah, that whole day was insane because we actually, this is kind of an unfortunate thing because the outcry and the rumor mill was whirring so hot that we got calls from local journalists who were like, what's happening? Like, like basically like my editors freaking out because they saw on Facebook what is happening. And we had to be like, nothing.
Nothing is happening.
Nothing is happening. Absolutely nothing. Like, and I think it was a very kind of a surreal day because it was based on somebody claimed to have seen a bunch of police cars or something. And it was like,
But there was a Purdue football game. I think somebody said maybe that was what the police cars were about.
Yeah. Yes. It's like other things happen. Life is going on in this area of Indiana, and there's other things, other crimes, and like not everything is necessarily connected. And I think hopefully that was certainly a good lesson for, I think, everyone, in the sort of making content around it. But I think also, just hopefully, just like we all need to kind of take a deep breath. And like, as you said, I think you summed it up perfectly. Law enforcement, the families, people will let you know, and it'll get announced. And like, reporters will be informed about the press conference before it happens.
Yeah, people said there were rumors of a press conference. And when there's a press conference, the state police or whoever will make sure everybody knows about
the
it.
Media
there
knows.
There won't be rumors.
Yeah, and like we're kind of self-deprecating, so we were kind of like, well, maybe they didn't tell us. Like, but we were like, we know they'll tell like the local media, like the people who work for the news stations and the newspapers, and they were all very confused and just, it was crazy.
So did you see this video about a month ago? A hacker hacked into Kagan's accounts. Do you know anything about that? I did watch the video. But I think he said he gave the police some of the logins. Are you aware of this? Do you want to comment?
I've heard a little bit about it.
Was that Fig, right? That Fig Sauce?
No, it was not.
Oh, okay.
The guy, Alex Voorhees. Well, no,
Alex Voorhees,
Fig did mention it, but I think the original interview was on a different channel.
Okay. Yeah, we don't really know much about that situation.
I'm always cautious when people need to be very cautious when they start hacking into like Kegan Klein's accounts or whatever, because first of all, there's every likelihood that the law enforcement already has that information. And if not, and you're hacking into it, a defense attorney in the future can claim that you were changing things. And so you need to be very careful that you don't get accused of changing evidence.
Why do you think the Anthony Schatz profile remained online if Tony and Kagan used it to kill Libby? Like, this is just like a personal question. Like, why would you? I would think that if they were responsible for that, the first thing they would do is go home and delete it. And my second question is, do you think law enforcement is currently in control of Anthony Schatz, hoping to like find some information or other like pedophiles or something like that?
Well, at this point, the information about Anthony Schatz is out there, so I'm imagining that that probably won't be super helpful for law enforcement. And they were the ones who put it out there, originally in December 2021. So I don't know if it's continuously being used at this point. Although obviously the reference to a big Indiana sex ring investigation back in 2020 was very interesting in the transcripts. And as for why would you keep that profile up? That's a great question. I don't know, but I don't necessarily feel like there's a lot of like rational decision making going on here necessarily. Is that fair to say? Mm-hmm. In terms of like the people involved who are behind this, and I guess if you're still using it to prey upon kids or kind of want to keep those connections going on, if you're a pedophile in this case, then I guess maybe that's the reason you keep it, because it's you're way into these children's lives and doing whatever sick stuff you're doing.
Yeah. You had said the public would be pissed at why Kagan it took so long to arrest him. Why was it? And I guess you guys don't want to reveal.
Well, I think we reported that out, right?
Most FBI, of it,
yeah, most of it. So we're referring in that situation, sort of annoyingly vaguely, so we apologize, to a later report we did on the FBI, their involvement early on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that we found out that they botched recovery of a tape that turned out to be kind of important, and then also, an FBI agent publicly cleared Kagan Klein.
The day after the raid.
Yeah.
Right. So all of that sort of, you know, I think should horrify people, because you have now circled back to them, but it sort of felt like, you know, what we understand from our sources is that Kagan Klein and Tony Klein basically lied to the FBI, lied to law enforcement, saying, "Oh, we were in Vegas."
On the 13th.
Yeah, and they weren't, and it sort of feels like, you can check that.
I know.
So what?
So it was very disappointing that they didn't make more of an effort to check the story about where they actually were on the day of the murder.
And so in this case, and then a part of the other thing that kind of, the FBI is considered the premier law enforcement body in the United States. And, they have a lot of tremendous successes. We've talked to FBI agents on our show, very impressive people. But in this case, it just sort of felt like what was going on there. And then you find out that a lot of the same people were involved in the Larry Nassar investigation here in Indianapolis. And, we all know how that went. It's very disappointing.
So I just wanted, something popped up. You guys reported something about the Marathon gas station. Do you want to talk about that? And also, you just mentioned the FBI screwed up, I guess, getting that tape. But couldn't they have, I was thinking, couldn't they watch it there and see if there was anything there? Like, how did this get messed up? And what was searched? Was it something from the Klein household the day of the murders? Tony or Kagan searched Marathon gas station in Delphi?
So we don't have every single detail to divulge, essentially, but our understanding is that Kagan Klein initiated some sort of search for the Marathon gas station in Delphi.
The day of the murders?
Yes. And so that's very significant. And then our understanding is that back when this all started, before it was even maybe known, that this would be important.
Let's keep in mind that the police did not know on the day of the murders that Kagan Klein made this search.
No.
They did not discover that until much later.
Yes.
And I apologize for interrupting.
And so basically then they go and, oh, well, good thing the FBI got all of these tapes from local businesses. And then they look for the one for Marathon gas station. And then they found out why
They go to the Marathon gas station and speak with the clerk there. And the clerk says, well, they came in and there was some sort of technical issue. And so
we gave them our hard drive to take so they could just, get the stuff off of it they needed. And then they returned it. But they didn't get the stuff they needed off of it.
Could you confirm that? Did you talk to the gas station clerk and they said at the time there were no issues with technical stuff, recording stuff? Or
we can't talk about
sources, unfortunately.
Okay.
But we confirmed the story.
Yes.
With multiple sources.
Why do you want to share why you think Kagan might have searched the gas station in Delphi?
I don't know. We're trying to think, when's a situation where anyone searches a gas station? Are you worried you're going to run out of gas on the return, or trying to look for a snack or something? I don't know.
Usually when I take a road trip, I just am pretty confident I will go by gas stations when I need gas stations.
You wing it.
I'm not looking up addresses of gas stations along the way.
Seems kind of odd.
I saw on Google Maps there's a dumpster. I wasn't sure if they were planning on dumping something, or I couldn't figure it out, or just park there. I don't know. Some people, I think, were speculating that maybe it could have been a place to park and then walk over to the bridge from there. I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to know, but there's certainly some good, educated guesses.
What do you think about the rumor Tony has lawyered up?
We've not been able to confirm that to our satisfaction, but I will say, speaking as an attorney myself, I kind of believe it's very important for anyone who has any sort of interaction with the legal system to have legal representation to protect their rights. And it's not so much that you're interested in protecting the rights of an accused person. It's just that if you want to have a conviction that sticks, you need to make sure everything is done by the book, and that's more likely to happen if the accused person has an attorney who's vigilant and making sure everything's done the right way.
Yeah, but we've not remotely confirmed that, I guess would be a way to put it.
So do you want to share whether you think Tony is truly involved in these murders?
Our attitude is that nobody should care about what we think. we barely care about what we think. What we're interested in is, what do the investigators think? What angles are they pursuing? What do they think is important? Because the investigators, by any account, know more than any of us.
Yeah, significantly more than we do. I think a good analogy for us, what we do is like we're this is a creepy analogy, so I apologize in advance. But imagine you're outside of a darkened house and you're trying to shine a flashlight and look at what's in the house, and it's like you might see a lot in the front room, but you're not going to see in all the other rooms. So I mean, we try to kind of shine a light on what we can and report and try to be responsible and diligent about the reporting. But we don't really think our opinions are worth much. We'll try to give like analysis when we feel it's useful, but I don't think we're like, yeah, we're certainly, we're not involved enough in the case itself and the investigation to really feel like we have something to say in terms of like pointing a finger directly at someone. But what we can do is tell you what's being looked at right now.
So do you think, even if an arrest is not coming soon, do you think there is a decent momentum in this case over the past month and a half, at least somewhat involving the Kleins?
From what we can judge from the outside, I feel like you have a very, very motivated and diligent investigation that is humming away right now. And that gives us comfort because, I mean, these girls deserve justice. Their families deserve justice. The communities that have been impacted by this. I mean, somebody needs to be held accountable for this crime. And it certainly seems like a lot of things are being done and progress is being made to a certain extent around looking into the Klein angle. And, that's certainly good. And I feel like everybody wants for an arrest to be made like tomorrow or yesterday. And we have just been we try to be cautious about that because it's something everyone wants. You can get caught up in the emotion of it and sort of start seeing things that you want to believe.
Unfortunately, we have to go here in a minute, but we'd like to take a couple more questions.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is for you guys. Are you doing something on the 20th that people should know about?
We are making an appearance at the Danville, Indiana Public Library. They actually, the Danville Library has been kind to us, and so we go there and make appearances every now and again.
They're very nice.
Cool. So somebody wants to know, did they find anything in the search?
They did not
of the river.
They did not find like a murder weapon or anything dramatic, but it's possible they may have found other things that in some way corroborated the story.
Yeah, just because not necessarily, something so dramatic is found doesn't necessarily mean that it was a waste of time necessarily. Sometimes you have to, cross things off, but also sometimes you have to, maybe find other things. But we don't really, we wish we knew more.
Do you think there's a connection between, hi, Sunny Justice, between the two ski mask incidents near the Kleins actually there's one in 2010 in Young America, which obviously the Kleins live near there. Do you think there's a connection between those two?
We don't know enough about either, I think, incident to really have an informed opinion on that at all. It certainly seems interesting, and we'd love to know more about those things. But we just don't know. We're very boring because we'll tell you when we don't know. Like we try not to kind of overstate it. But I think that's certainly something worth looking into. A lot of our time is spent looking into stuff that then doesn't pan out at all. Like you just kind of go down rabbit holes and then, oh well, this was totally wrong, and then you kind of start over basically. But yeah.
We really appreciate you letting us come on and talk with you and your audience.
We really love your show, Tom. And
we
really respect the work you've done and the fact you've made your research available and out there on Word documents and stuff is very useful.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. And we appreciate the chance to get to chat with you guys. And also, you guys had terrific questions. So thanks very much for having us.
Thank you for joining. I really appreciate it. Sorry I didn't get to everybody else's questions. I'll stay on to answer them, but I really appreciate you guys joining.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Right,
bye, everyone. Bye.
Sorry, you guys are stuck with me now. Yeah, I really appreciate them joining. That was nice of them. Hopefully, you guys got something out of that. Let's see. I'm way behind on comments. Let's see here. Lisa says, what does it matter? Kagan will be in prison for life. I'm not sure about that because if he's trying to do some kind of deal, he might not. Who knows how much time he's going to get in jail? He's already done 2 years, so hopefully we'll find out. I guess January is when his CSAM trial is supposed to happen. Hi, Patricia. Thank you very much. I think that question was answered. Some people are saying flannel shirt guy lawyered up pretty much immediately. Flannel shirt guy is one of the McCain brothers who spent a lot of time on the trails, and he apparently may have been one of the witnesses on the day of the murders. So I think a lot of people don't think that flannel shirt guy was the guy on the bridge, though. Sorry, just trying to get through these questions here and comments. Kagan doesn't have much to lose by telling somewhat believable lies. If they don't find anything, it's not his fault. Maybe he'll get a participation trophy to help with the plea bargain. Like I said, I don't know why he would start lying, but obviously the police, like Kevin and Anya said, they did the river search and of Tony's mom's house, the burn pit. Is Kagan rolling on his dad? His dad must have stopped giving him money. Kagan will starve to death without commissary money. Yeah, I mean, his dad seems to be, he was continuing to give him some money, I think. So I don't know what happened at the end of August there. My wayward sibling seems not to mind county jail at all. It's not what it used to be. I guess that's when I was talking about chirping or something. Sorry, I see there's a lot of questions that I missed for the murder sheet, but hopefully they'll answer them at some point. Cassie, thank you. Sorry, I did not get to this. Thoughts on Tony, Kagan, and BW in this together, pushing the girls down the creek, them fighting back. They get killed inadvertently because it wasn't part of the plan, but they decided to try to pin it on Ron Logan. BW, I think, is the son of the neighbor who lives at the south end of the house. I don't know. How are you going to involve 4 different guys and 5.5 years later, they can't figure out who did it? I don't know. That the more people you add, I don't know, it seems harder to keep a secret. If you think about it, what difference is it for Kagan being in jail or at home in Tony's jail? I mean, it's like, what kind? I mean, he just sat at home for years before he even got arrested. The Rockaway says, why didn't law enforcement know about Anthony's shots on day 1? The account was in contact with Libby on February 13th, the day of the murders, and Libby's friends had contact with him, knew about the meetup. And obviously, Kelsey said she chatted with Anthony Schatz on Instagram the night of the murders when they're still trying to find out if they had run away or what. So she said nothing in that conversation raised a red flag as to why, like, Anthony Schatz or whoever had that profile would be suspicious. But it kind of makes me think there was some kind of text history on Instagram between Libby and Anthony Schatz the night of the murders. So you would think if they said, okay, we'll meet at the bridge in 2 hours, that Kelsey would have seen that. So I don't know why that did not show up. Hi, Marshall. Sorry, I did not see this. Have any similar unsolved murders been focused on in Nevada or Ohio that have been brought up specifically if either client are guilty? I'm not sure about that. Ron Logan's alibi is all screwed up. Yeah, I would like to know exactly when he left for the aquarium, but it seems like the police cleared him. Yeah, I mean, the police, in my opinion, they did not charge him. They looked into him, and it just didn't add up for them. Let's see. Lots of fun comments with people complaining about each other. Any idea of the type of evidence the clients might have tried to dispose of that had been hinted at? Obviously, that was for the murder sheet. I don't know. I guess the jacket or the jeans that may have had blood on them. But I was just surprised at the end there where Kevin said they did not recover a murder weapon in the river. What else could it have been? A burner phone? I don't know. I guess we'll find out, hopefully, at some point. Red, thank you for saying those things. Why would Murder Sheet use Kelly as a source? Did you hear? Yes, Kelly is somebody who started texting Kagan in jail, saying she was trying to get some information from him, and I guess she did. So I don't know why people are mad at her, to be honest. Logan and his neighbor, I guess the Weber son, wanted to bring the news to the crime site to get their DNA all over it. Yeah, but that was after it had already been processed. Seriously, you blocked me? I didn't block anybody. I have a moderator, so I'm not doing any of this. Blame my moderators. And I saw somebody before say they were muted. I didn't mute anybody. I set up people complained last chat that it was going by too fast. So I set a 30-second delay between when you can post comments. Let's see. Who is Kelly? I just said that. And she was on the recent Murder Sheet podcast where they talked about Kagan's commissary account and stuff like that. Yeah, whoever's moderating, you don't have to delete comments. I'm just saying like delete if people are spamming like 10 questions in a row. So sorry if I'm not complaining about my moderators, but people can have a different opinion than I do. I'm fine with that. Just I wanted to block. I mean, somebody last time was talking about like financial advice and stuff. So like just stick to the topic. Joan says if Libby invited Kelsey to join them, she either was not planning on meeting Anthony Schatz or Kelsey knew about him. Yeah, that's what I said. It's like Libby obviously kept this, I don't know if you want to, I don't want to say relationship with Anthony Schatz secret, but if she knew that she was going there to meet the guy in the Anthony Schatz pictures, she wouldn't be like, hey, Kelsey, you want to come meet this guy I've been secretly talking to? So it did not seem to me like Libby was expecting Anthony Schatz to be at the bridge that day. But I'm so I don't know. I just want to know, like, how did this all play out? And hopefully we'll find out at some point soon. Was the cellmate of Kagan's a good artist or not? I mean, the one with Kagan's belly sticking out was somewhat decent. Moving along. Was Marathon gas station a drug deal? Well, I said in my video, could it have been where Kagan gave information to a third person, not his dad, saying, these girls are going to be at the bridge today. I'll meet you at Marathon gas station. My payment for telling you that is to give me some marijuana. But the way it seems to be pointing now is that Tony is the killer, not some third guy. But like I said, I don't see either Kagan or Tony as being the guy on the bridge. So I don't know. We'll see. Who was the guy that saw the deer before the bodies? That was the guy who owned the orange truck, known as Orange Truck Guy, also known as the initials PB. I don't know, I talked about this in my last live chat and also in my first Delphi video. I don't know what you want me to say about it, but it did seem kind of weird that he looked across, he was on the south side of the creek. They were searching for the girls on the morning of the 14th. He saw two deer. I guess he used his cell phone to kind of, like zoom in with the video and photo camera. And he said he saw, I guess, the clothing or the girls' bodies. So that's how they found them. But you would think if somebody saw them from that far away, the police would do a decent job of preserving the crime scene. So yeah, I said this in my first video, or my recent video. I believe his name is Kagan, not Keegan. And somebody said, no, not Kegel. Somebody said that Tony named Kagan because Tony's favorite strip club, I think, was called Keg N Stone. I don't know. That's classy. I'm sure his wife loved that. Let's see. Hi, Amy. Thank you for joining and your comment. I'm way behind on comments. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm trying to, maybe I'll scroll through a bunch of them. Yeah, I'm still on Murder Sheet comments, and they left like 20 minutes ago. Did you guys ever check out the father's background like I asked a long time ago? That seems to be coming up a little bit here lately with other people. Sorry, Jim, I didn't get to that. Obviously, as you can see, there's so many comments. Let's see. Red says I'm blocked or muted. Like I said, I'm not moderating this, so you have to wait 30 seconds before you can comment because people said the chat was going too fast last time. Amy, thank you very much. I hope you got something out of my files that I shared. Let's see. How much of a hunter was Tony? He has hunted deer. Was he an avid hunter or was it a sometime thing? Well, he did post something on Facebook. Was it like a few months before the murders? It showed a white truck bed, like a pickup truck with a deer. And I think Tony said, like the caption was, I took my friend deer hunting. Thank you, Bill. Somebody said Orange Truck Guy's alibi is dead. Apparently his alibi, I guess the afternoon of Monday the 13th, was a police officer who committed suicide a few years later. Although I recently read somebody said that this guy was cleared. I don't know. How guilty is GK? I think you're talking about Garrett Kurtz. Like I said previously, Garrett Kurtz was on drugs around this time of the murders, and he had no respect for human life. He killed this woman, his girlfriend, like one of two girlfriends. What was her name? Nicole Bowen. And then like within a few weeks, he killed this other guy. It's like he had no regard for human life. So I could see if he was on drugs, him killing two 8th grade girls, but it just, I don't think he's involved. I know some people disagree. Who are we talking to? I just jumped on. So the two people from before were Kevin and Anya. They're the creators of the Murder Sheet podcast. Hi, Vanessa. Welcome. Hi, Marshall. In your research, did you ever come across any information that you chose not to include, but decided not to? If so, why? I did think about this recently, and I mean, there was a lot of stuff that, like somebody said on one of my videos, like, dude, you'd fall down a lot of rabbit holes. And in my intro to my Missy Beavers video, I said that, and I was like, ain't no shame in my rabbit hole game. Because I feel like in these cases that are unsolved after so long and using like regular police techniques, it's going to maybe take some random person falling down some random rabbit hole and making some kind of connection. Will it always happen? No, probably never. But I mean, I think it's possible. So what did I find that I didn't share? I don't know. To be honest, some people have told me some stuff recently that I've kept my mouth shut about, but eventually it came out through other sources. So I can keep a secret. But no, there's nothing like big that I know that I'm not sharing with anybody. Let's see. Move Clock says the guy in the bridge has brown hair. Well, people apparently on the trail said that he has reddish or auburn hair. It wasn't me. I've never been in Indiana. But I mean, if people are on the trail, I mean, in the first like wanted poster, it said red or brown hair. No, sorry, red or auburn, 18 to 40 years old. And I think 5'6" to 5'10". And obviously that doesn't match up to Kagan or Tony. So it's like, if it turns out to be Tony, that's totally off because Tony was 48 years old at the time of the murders. All right, I've been going an hour and a half. I'll go another 2 hours or so. Like I said before, I have to wake up at 4:30 to go to Hawaii to help my uncle tomorrow morning, and I haven't started packing, so it should be an interesting night. Let's see. I'm still in the murder sheet comments. All right, I'm scrolling down really fast. Sorry. What? Oh, okay. Sorry, I missed this. What about the dog hairs? What was the conclusion? Relevant or not link? So in the Ron Logan search warrant, it said there were unknown fibers and hairs, I guess, at the crime scene. So some people thought the unknown like hairs could have been a dog. And Tony had a pit bull at the time, which he still has. And then Tony was apparently raided again, I believe it was November 19th of 2021, which was, I tried to calculate the timing. And the neighbor said they took Tony's dog, but somebody said that was just because they normally take a dog when they raid a house. So like it won't attack the investigator. So I'm not sure that they were searching for the dog hair of Tony's dog, if it matched any hair at the crime scene. Isn't cell reception on the bridge an issue? If Libby could have called 911, why didn't she? Well, I think it just happened so fast. She didn't have time. If Libby couldn't call out, why? If Libby couldn't call out, why should we believe Ron Logan could? I wasn't at the bridge at 2:09. I don't know what the cell service was like there. Hi, Chams. Thanks for staying for my snarky little smile. Let's see. Brown Skittle says, we were on to something early on, which is something that, what's his name? Doug Carter said, I guess at the August 2019 press conference 2 years after. What was that? Was that the Kleins that he was referring to or the Logans? Or Ron Logan, sorry. Moon Crystal, I have a weird question. Have you heard the phone call of Tony Klein's alleged friend on Aaron Mull's channel? I think it was a 4-parter. I watched one. I know that a lot of people in the comments were like, this doesn't add up to me that this guy is Tony's friend. So I did listen to part of it. I just don't really have anything to comment on about it. Sorry. He seemed to be like saying some things that I mean, I don't know. I don't know that you should watch it all 4 episodes to figure it out, but just read the comments and I'm sure people would summarize it. Could the Jeep, the red Jeep owned by Tony, had been hidden in Ron Logan's barn while he waited? Well, it seems like the police have been focused on at the April 2019 press conference. They said, we're looking for information on the driver of a car who was at the CPS building from noon to 5 on the day of the murders. So they obviously think that something there has to do with the murders. And some people are speculating if Kagan was actually in the passenger seat in a red Jeep at CPS, was Tony like walking back and forth? But like somebody just said, Kagan apparently said his dad came back to the car and said, I need you to come to the murder scene to help me clean it up or something. Thank you, Red, for your comment. All right, I'm like 40 minutes behind comments. Sorry. Why are questions getting deleted? Like I said, I'm not deleting it. Moderators, you don't have to delete questions. Just delete spam. Thank you. Why was Kagan never charged with trafficking narcotics and possession of marijuana? Good question. And why did it take 3.5 years to charge him with the CSAM that they found February 2017? Do you think Kagan got careless with the catfishing? Libby called him out and Tony had to clean up his mess. Could it be that simple? I don't know, because apparently Libby was contacting Anthony Schatz on the day of the murders, and it seems like she thought she was still talking to Anthony Schatz. If she said like, "Oh, I don't believe you," like when Kelsey logged in the night of the murders and saw the conversation with Anthony Schatz, she would have seen Libby saying like, "I don't believe you," and something suspicious. But Kelsey said that conversation with Anthony Schatz that had happened previously was not suspicious, which I obviously want to know what they were talking about. Thank you, Charlie. I don't plan to do any more live streams until there's like some major breaking news or an arrest. But I appreciate you donating. Thank you. Hi, Sunny Justice. You're my favorite. The BG is a young, simple, hence the young sketch. Regardless, justice for Libby and Abby. Later, Tom, have a great live. Block wife Lilith. You'll be a better person for it. Just saying. I know, but what I'm saying is like, why in April 2019 did the police release a sketch that's a young guy, and now it seems like they're focusing on Tony Klein, who looks nothing like it? I don't know. Oh my gosh. Can you verify? Sorry, I'm still on Anthony Schatz question or murder sheet questions. Can you verify if the woman who met Anthony Schatz, Kayla, who murder sheet interviewed a girl who said she met Kagan at a park and she brought her friend. Kagan was nice at the park, and the friend was like, "My dad is texting, we have to go." And then afterwards, Kagan texted this girl, Kayla, and said, "I should have." He's like, "Why did you bring your friend? I should have slit your throat and watched you bleed out." So I guess some people speculate, did something similar happen with Libby? Sorry, I'm just going through these comments. I doubt Murder Sheet is going to look for questions that they missed, but if they do see this, has Kayla talked to the police yet? Why had she not talked to the police earlier? I'm pretty sure that Murder Sheet at one point said because of their reporting, police have said that they have gotten more tips. So hopefully Kayla did talk to the police and other people. Straight from the horse's mouth said, "Kevin, can we now debunk the Gabe Ellis meth theory and the revenge killings?" I guess there was a theory that Libby's dad, Derek, had a drug problem, and some people said he maybe ratted out this girl, Garrett Kerr's girlfriend, Ashley Garth, who was also responsible for the murder of Nicole Bowen. They're both in jail for a long time now, thank God. And some people thought maybe there was some kind of revenge to kill Derek's daughter, Libby, for him ratting somebody out. But I mean, nobody's been arrested for anything yet. So who knows what could possibly be the truth. Is Tony under surveillance? Yes, by his neighbors and YouTubers, but I don't know about the police. All right, this isn't true, but thank you, Jamie. Dr. Gunsmith said, if it is Tony, they need to get him soon as he might kill himself or go on the run. Well, he's going to have a limp because half of his foot was taken off, apparently. Yeah, I would really want to know, like, what's going through Tony Klein's mind right now. I mean, there's apparently a bunch of people on Facebook who sent him messages. Obviously, you can imagine what horrible things they're accusing him of, which, I mean, he's a horrible person, so I really don't have sympathy, but it's like, what if it's not Tony? But it looks like the signs are pointing toward it being Tony. Lauren said, do they think there is probably a lack of DNA evidence? Because if it was Tony or Kagan, wouldn't it have been solved if there was murderer's DNA at the scene? That's, I mean, I agree with that, because Kagan said he gave his DNA the night of the raid where they first questioned him, February, I guess it was the 25th of 2017. So even if it was Tony at the murder site and they had some of Kagan's DNA, you would think it would match close to his father. And I believe Tony said he did give his DNA, but that was a Facebook message that might have been faked. Were there other cameras that did capture vehicles entering and leaving Marathon Station on the 13th? Well, it seems like the murder sheet just said before when I was talking to them that the FBI did go around to multiple businesses to get video, but they screwed up possibly the most important one at Marathon. But I mean, it's possible that Kagan searched Marathon gas station and did not show up there, but you would think if he's searching that, there's a good possibility that it had something to do with the crime. Even if it's not Tony or Kagan, was it some third person or something to do with the crime? Would they possibly be stalling in hopes of busting a bigger related ring? Do you think I guess CSAM ring you're talking about? Do you think the FBI was already investigating these predators catfishing underage girls and suspect a CI was already undercover? Well, I showed in my latest video, my 4.5 hour video, that some guy, Elliot Schaffner, was arrested February 10th, the Friday before the murders. And he lived in Kokomo, and Tony works in Kokomo. And in the news story, or a follow up to it at least, they said that law enforcement was on kick trying to catch these CSAM pedophiles. And so, yes, who knows how much law enforcement may have even been contacting Emily Ann or Anthony Schatz as Kagan or Tony were trying to get these underage pictures and videos. Infidel said 40 minutes ago, what's the motive for Kagan targeting Liberty, Libby? Out of all the girls he spoke to online, why pick her out? Which I said that in my videos. Like, Kagan admitted to getting pictures from over, I think, 200 girls at one point, he admitted. It's like, what was it about Libby that he met in person or Tony met in person? Because he just wanted these pictures and videos to either look at or trade and not necessarily meet in person. So I agree. That's a very good question. What was different about Libby from all these other interactions online? And was it truly Tony talking to Libby, or was it a combination of Tony and Kagan? I guess somebody replied to that saying, I think because Tony or Kagan groomed Libby and realized she would meet him. Yeah, like I said in the August 2020 Kagan's jail interview, the police said we have the money account going to Libby. And I know there's some speculation online. Some people said, oh, that's just the Anthony Schatz profile that has a picture of money. But Kagan, I showed, had like Cash App and Venmo. So did he send Libby money, and why would he send her money? A lot of YouTubers are having massive meltdowns. This case has caused some problems for sure. I am sweating a little bit and melting a little bit. Not as bad as my previous meltdown when it was hotter. Did Libby send pictures to Anthony Schatz? Well, I was thinking because Kagan in his interview said Libby annoyed him and he blocked her. So obviously his whole deal online is trying to get these underage pictures. Did Libby send him something? Kagan was like, all right, I got what I wanted from you and I've moved on. But Libby was like, I really think Anthony Schatz is cute. Valentine's Day is coming up Tuesday the 14th, the day after the murders. Did she want a boyfriend on Valentine's Day? And she kept texting the Anthony Schatz profile. I don't know. This is so great and informative. I'm glad you appreciated the murder sheet. I'm that, like I said, that was a last minute thing, and I'm glad that they showed up. Although they left pretty quick. I'm kidding. Alex Voorhees was the hacker guy I was talking about before, and he was on the Trendifier podcast. We will all be hearing more from him very soon. Okay. So in case anybody wants to see that, this guy said he hacked into Kagan's accounts and he gave the police the information. And I guess it's on the Trendifier YouTube channel or podcast. I saw it on YouTube. Let's see. This person says that hacker guy, the only reason he is not charged with the felony for illegal hacking is because even the FBI knows he's a liar. I mean, I don't know what he really added to the case because police looked at Kagan's profiles and I'm sure they changed his passwords when on maybe the February 25th, 2017, when they got all of his phones except that main phone, which still to me, I cannot figure out how the police raid his house. They get like 6 different, I guess they got like 5 phones and 1 tablet, but they did not get Kagan's main phone. And then Kagan says, oh yeah, after my interview, it was on the kitchen counter. Did Tony say, oh crap, the police are outside, threw the phone under the couch or something? I don't know. It's 2:05 in the UK. Go to sleep. Do you think law enforcement check Logan's receipt time? Yes, they did. Ron Logan went to an aquarium in, was it Logansport? And I think the time was around 5:30. So yes, the police did reference that aquarium receipt. But it's like 5:30. How long do you go around an aquarium picking out fish if the murder happened at 2:13, 2:15? Like I said, I don't think it's Ron on the bridge. Is Doug Carter going to run for governor? I don't know about that. I never heard that. What? I'm still on murder sheet questions, and they left a long time ago. Yeah, like I said, I'm not deleting comments. I made 2 people moderators, and I just said previously, you don't have to delete comments unless they're horrible things that people are saying. Why did they initially interview Kagan? Because I don't know how familiar you are with this case, but so the murders happened Monday, February 13th. A week later, Monday, February 20th, some girl who had also been chatting with the Anthony Schatz fake profile, which was run by Kagan and possibly his dad, said she got off the bus in the afternoon and some guy in a ski mask was looking in her bedroom. And so she told the police. I mean, there's no clarification or more information what happened otherwise than just her seeing this guy in a ski mask. So I guess she told police, yeah, well, I told this Anthony Schatz profile what my address was, I think on the 19th, the day before. And Kagan searched on Facebook about this girl's relatives the day before the ski mask incident on the 20th. So I guess the police looked into Anthony Schatz profile and they somehow connected Kagan. They did a search of Anthony Schatz and it came back to Kagan's dad's house was where the profile was being operated out of. So in Kagan's August 2020 interview, they said, "We first found out about you through the ski mask incident and the Anthony Schatz profile." What about odd deaths of 2 marathon gas clerks, both young women? That's the first I've heard about that. Is that in the Delphi, Indiana area? According to an interview with Anna, who is Abby's mother, the sketches are witnesses who thought they saw somebody. Well, the teenage girl I was talking about before, who saw some guy around Freedom Bridge at 1:30, she apparently told the police before even the sketch came out, or the screenshot from the video, what the creepy looking guy was wearing, and it did match what the guy on the bridge was wearing. So you would think of this girl, I mean, it's been a long time, but if she saw a picture of Tony or Kagan, couldn't she say, yeah, that kind of resembles the guy I remember? But no, so one more thing about that. She said, this teenage witness said she was about 5'6", and the guy she encountered, who was wearing clothes like the bridge guy, was only like an inch taller. So that would be 5'6", 5'7", 5'8". Tony seems to be around 6 foot, and Kagan is like 5'11"-ish. That's a fairly big difference to 5'8" or 5'7". Sean says, I heard someone speculate that Kagan may have wanted to meet Libby at the Marathon gas station. Who knows? I heard somebody once say that Libby or Kelsey may have said that the gas station was like a teenage meetup spot. But from the Google Maps, I don't know where they would meet up. And I called the gas station to say, do you have a place to eat inside? And she said, there's no tables where people can sit down and eat inside. So I don't know how that could be like a meetup place. Yeah, I'm still on Murder Sheet. Apparently Anya shook her head yes. I'll have to look back at that. I don't know what that was. They did look at each other a few times like, should we reveal this or not? Guys, make sure to check out friend of the channel, Fig Solved, had a new episode today. Yeah, I haven't seen any new content today. I didn't know about the Murder Sheet, saying that Tony's mom's house had a burn pit that had a search warrant recently. Marshall said, we should care what your opinion is, which is the Murder Sheet, since you have seen the most evidence and much we do not know. I agree. I mean, Murder Sheet, Kevin and Anya seem to know more about this case than anybody who's not in law enforcement. All right, I have to skip down a lot. I'm missing so many. What do you think Doug Carter meant when he said that what happened from the endogenous? What? From the, what is this? Did he misspell something? From the bridge to where they were found was complex? I'm confused. Sorry. Your comment is complex. No offense. Andy asked, when exactly was Kagan meant to meet the girls? What time? That's what I want to know. That's what I said in my video. It's like Kagan or Anthony Schatz apparently said to this friend of Libby the night they were missing, he said, oh my God, what happened? She said, did you hear what happened to Libby? And his immediate reaction was, oh my God, what happened? I was supposed to meet her, but she did not show up. But there's never been any clarification. Was it that day of the murders or where? So that would be helpful to know. Mr. Hawk. So I've seen some people reference this. If I move my hand, my shirt changes. Kevin and Anya, I noticed at the end of one podcast, you asked for tips regarding Ron Logan. Can you elaborate on why you asked that? They've been doing these podcasts for a while, and I think that's just like something they recorded towards the beginning. So they just replay that same thing. Like I said, I think when I was talking to them, they said they don't really suspect Ron Logan as being the guy on the bridge. Let's see. Rob Lee, have they heard the rumor that a fingerprint was lost? Yeah, I'm sorry. There were too many comments and they didn't stay to answer everything. So I'm sorry for people who I did not get to ask them your question. Did the murder sheet interview anyone working at Chrysler? People gossip in the plants and in the streets. They said they interviewed dozens of people, so I'd imagine they did contact one of Tony's coworkers. I don't know that anybody's really going to remember if Tony was acting weird, like the day after the murders. He has off on Mondays, which was when the murder and the ski mask incident happened, for people who don't know. Let's see. Lola Falana, isn't that like a Bee Gees song lyric? Thank you. Or is that Copacabana? I don't know. Keeping it moving. Kagan will lie his way into a participation. Oh, I already said this, I thought. If there is a conviction, the perp will get life. Double murder is a heavy charge. Well, they have the death penalty in Indiana, and frankly, I think whoever did this should get killed. Well, I mean, really, like killing 2 8th grade girls, no, you don't deserve to live. Let's see. Haunted Parlor. When is Kagan's next court date? Apparently, his trial got moved to January 2023. There might be some kind of pre-trial conference in October. If you go to My Case Indiana and search by name, you can see, you have to scroll all the way to the bottom to see like Kagan's court dates and stuff. Champs and Shade podcast. Could the shots profile been used by multiple people on the group and it was someone other than Tony or Kagan meeting them? Like I said, I don't see Kagan or Tony on the bridge, so I wonder, was there a third person? Apparently Kagan is saying it was Tony, so there is no third person there. I think the more you add, like I said, more people in, I don't know, like the easier it is to figure it out. And this hasn't been very easy to figure out. Let's see. Courtney asked, did Kagan search Marathon gas station from his home or his phone? I don't think they ever specified that. You may want to watch their podcast on it or listen to their podcast. If Kagan is trying to lie his way out of his problems, which, I mean, he has 40 CSAM charges, and his trial was supposed to be in September. So him talking around August 19th or soon after that, what happened? I don't know if he's just getting nervous that maybe his lawyer said, you're going to be in jail for a long time. You need to, if you have anything to do with Delphi, you need to speak up. Great job, Sleuther Vandross. Yeah, it's just a joke for anybody who doesn't know. I click on any, see my 2 favorite Delphi news sources together. Thank you, Jenny. Angel Bear, he is guilty of CSAM and admitted it. I'm trying to figure out why there is a trail. I'm not sure what you're talking about that. But yeah, I mean, at first, police said when they interviewed him, we're at 2 hours. I'll do like a half hour, but I might do an hour. Like I said, I have to pack for a trip. Kagan apparently lied about being Anthony Schatz, and then the police showed him the chats and the pictures, and he's like, "Oh, okay, it was me." I don't know. Sorry, I'm just reading through comments. I need to scroll through a bunch of these. Sorry for the silence. I'm trying to find a comment to highlight. Shanna Banna said they could have used WhatsApp, and it is cryptic messages, and if you delete, it's gone for good, supposedly. Well, was that even around in February 2017? And some people have said there could have been a burner phone. I don't know, because Kagan was doing so many horrible things on his regular phones. Why would he also have a burner phone? Or Tony? Lauren said maybe Libby didn't think Anthony Schatz would actually show up, and she thought he'd flake out. That's why she didn't get dressed up. Because I mean, I think she was in sweatpants, and like I said, you'd think some girl who thinks she's meeting like the guy of her dreams would dress up, but if she's walking on a hiking trail, I mean, it's not like she's wearing high heels or something. Let's see. Yeah, so someone said that Libby asking Kelsey to go, Libby knew that Kelsey had to go to see her boyfriend before work, so she probably figured Libby or Kelsey would say, "Yeah, I'll drop you off, but I can't like go for a long walk or whatever." If you are going to say law enforcement is lying about the GPS, how do we know when they are telling the truth? Yeah, I'm surprised at some of the tactics that law enforcement have had in this case, but I mean, I'm not an expert on law enforcement or crimes or anything, so who am I to talk? Yeah, I made this point, Milena. If Libby communicated with Klein, I believe it's possible she communicated with other fake profiles unknowingly. I said the same thing in my video. It's like if some girl wants a boyfriend, she's not going to just talk to one guy. I mean, there could have been other guys that she was chatting with who were catfishing her or not. And I guess some guys that there's some bicycle bridge road in Delphi that I guess was the first search warrant. And I think that was some younger guy who was chatting with Libby, but he got, I guess police didn't think he was involved. Gen X Rando, keep up the great vids. Luther Vandross, thank you. I really appreciate it. Another channel today presented what a reporter had to say on about February 14th. Reporter said girls' clothing was in creek 75 yards east of bridge, visible from the bridge. Well, the Ron Logan warrant said that 2 items of clothing were removed. I think people speculated it was socks or 1 sock and maybe Libby's underwear because Libby's shoe was found on the south side of the creek. They were found on the north side, obviously. So in my first video, I speculated how her shoe could have come off. And I don't know. I know people said that Kagan recently admitted to having 200 socks in his collection. So people thought maybe if he was the one who killed them, he wanted her sock to keep. I don't know. Thank you, Willow Rain. I'm glad you enjoyed Murder Sheet joining. How in the hell is it possible for a 400-pound man to fit in a red two-door sports Jeep, with diabetes. Who are you? Wilford Brimley? And epilepsy. No, Tony has diabetes and Kagan has seizures and then commit a double homicide. Kagan said he was 300 to 310 pounds at the time of the murder. That's what he told Barbara McDonald in his December 2021 interview. But if the police wanted poster says 180 to 220 pounds, obviously he's not going to say, oh, yeah, I was 240. I don't know. Hi, Mariah. Thank you for joining. You know I love that name. Scumbag Trav, what do you think about women writing to and video chatting with alleged child abusers? Is there any justification for this? I don't know. Apparently, I'm thinking what I want to say or what I think about it. I mean, what Kagan did was horrible. Even if I was thinking, like, even if these 13 and 14-year-old girls willingly took a photo or video of themselves that was inappropriate and sent it to a guy they thought was Anthony Schatz. I mean, an 8th grade girl, not to be rude, but we were all in 8th grade at one point. And we weren't smart. I mean, we do stupid things. So you have to like forgive these young people for making mistakes. But I mean, if she sent it, any girl sent it to Anthony Schatz, she did not think that Kagan or Tony was behind the profile. And then taking her photo and sharing it, posting it like on websites, it's like she thought maybe one guy would see it, not like thousands of guys. So whoever was behind Anthony Schatz's profile, like what they did was horrible. So somebody chatting with that guy who did that, I mean, I get people being curious to know and find out information, and people have found out information that we did not know through these jailhouse chats. So I don't know. I mean, it's not like Kagan has gotten rich from the money that they gave him to tech. So I don't know. It's not totally horrible, to be honest. That's my opinion. But I do think, oh, never mind. I won't say that. Now everybody's going to want to know. So I've been ignoring somebody in this chat. No offense to you, wife Lilith. So apparently one of these people, I won't say what her real name is. There's a woman who started chatting with him, and she's apparently engaged to Kagan. It's like, do you really want to marry some guy who did this to girls? He's not going to change. And I don't know. Moving on. Next. I never thought, I don't know what you're talking about here. I never thought it either until just recently when someone showed me a picture of him young. Oh, I guess maybe we're talking about Tony. Because Tony, he was 48 at the time of the murders. And if you look at his pictures from December 2016, a few months before the murders, I just looked, we have 681 people here. Hi. Tony he looked younger than 48, but he did not look like that second sketch. So I don't know. It's like, how are people going to be on a jury and say, okay, well, law enforcement said these stats and these sketches, and here's the defendant, Tony Klein. It doesn't add up. So that's going to cause a jury to be like, yeah, I can't say beyond a reasonable doubt that it was Tony, unless Kagan gets on the stand or the chair and says, yeah, this is what happened. And I'm not too knowledgeable about court cases. Can Kagan get on the stand and say, yes, this is what happened? Can that convict Tony? I think I'm going to have to jump to the very bottom. Yeah, I'm going. Oh, wait, I missed. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Marshall. I appreciate it. Let's see. Like I said before, I'm so sorry for all these comments I'm missing. You people are talking way too much. There's way too many people. You're going to make me stay up so late. Mona, thank you. Anybody who donates, I appreciate it. And YouTube gets 30%, so they appreciate your 30%. Here's a random one. Bee's Knees. I suspect that Super Nintendo Carter was referring to murderers who were father and son when he stated folks would be shocked. We're just injured to the heart of that fact. I thought something when I read this. Oh, yeah, I was going to say from my video, I said, what was Kagan's Twitter profile switch and swishers? And somebody said Nintendo Switch, which is a game, and swishers is apparently Swedish swishers. I don't know. I don't smoke pot, but a lot of my subscribers do. So they told me that's what a swisher is, like to roll a blunt. Oh my God. Can you imagine me smoking a blunt on camera? I'll tell you a quick story. So I'm going tomorrow to see my uncle in Hawaii. He's been like stuck in his apartment due to health issues for 10 years. So I go there to help him out. And I don't smoke, drink, or do drugs. So he smokes pot and he has a vape. So to make him happy, I said, okay, I'm going to smoke pot from your vape one time. So I inhaled, it burned my throat immediately. I started choking. I did not get any kind of high. So I don't know why I'm telling you that, but it was funny. And also the last time I went there, I was sitting in a chair next to him and I randomly coughed and this big puff of smoke came out of my mouth. And I was like, why is smoke coming out of my mouth and my body? And then I realized when I went to get water that I'd taken a turmeric pill. So it was like yellow powder that got stuck in my throat. So that's fun. And my uncle didn't even know what I was talking about. He was watching TV. So anyway, all right, I'm 30 minutes behind. All right, go. Beirut. Hi, Beirut. Thank you for joining. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Lori says, Tony was definitely talking to Libby. That's why Kagan always says, I don't remember this or that. Yeah, I mean, well, having said that, Kagan lied about everything. And I do really appreciate anytime I'm looking on the internet and I see somebody referred to Kagan as my nickname, Kagokio, because he lies more than Pinocchio. So thank you. Big Fish, I know I have to acknowledge you. If KK was talking to multiple people, Libby just likely was talking to multiple people, which I just said before. If Kagan sent Libby money, search for the gas station, etc., then he would be charged, in my opinion. Like I said, I don't know why neither Kagan or Tony have not been charged 5.5 years after police first knew about them. I don't know if this is for me. I send bad sailor. Do you have any thoughts about Kelsey contacting the Anthony Shots profile from the police station? I mean, people blame Kelsey, but I just don't see what use that has. I mean, she was a teenager at the time. She had just dropped her sister and her friend off, and they ended up getting murdered. So she apparently got access to Libby's Instagram. I've never really seen any confirmation what device. I know people may have said that Libby had to give her passwords to her family as a prerequisite to be allowed to use social media. But it's like, I don't know. I was going to say, never mind. If she had not been allowed to use social media, this may have never happened, but it's not been confirmed that it is definitely because of social media. So I don't know. I mean, she said she looked on the Instagram to see if Libby had recently chatted with anybody. She was just looking for information at that time to find out where they were at anybody's house or what. They had not been discovered until the next day. Somebody said something nice, but I'm not going to highlight it. Oh, hi, Nisi. Thank you. Fig Sol said, I just interviewed Alex. Oh, I guess that's the hacker guy, Alex Voorhees, and got some info. I will upload the video soon. Hopefully, it will answer some of the questions people have. Okay. Law enforcement mess ups. Yeah, I mean, people could create a list of what they've messed up because, frankly, like I said at the beginning, it's shocking that the local police, the county police, the state police, and the FBI, all, I don't know, they didn't figure it out. And it's like, I guess people were maybe bickering or having different viewpoints, but I don't know. Just going through these comments. Oh, so somebody listed this. I've not read this before. I'm highlighting it. Law enforcement mess ups didn't check Klein's alibi. Yeah, like Murder Sheet just said, they told the police we were in Vegas on February 13th, but they were there the 21st to the 25th. Messed up the marathon gas station footage. Didn't arrest Kagan back in 2017 for CSAM. I agree with that. Didn't bring in search dogs. Called off search at night. There's many mistakes. Yeah, unfortunately. But I mean, what would have been different though if they had found the girls' bodies at 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. on the night of the murders? Like, I mean, I'm just asking. I don't know how it would have changed anything. The ski mask story is weird and doesn't make sense. She gave her address to Anthony Schatz. Kagan knew her family, but searched for her address. No, he didn't search for her address. The girl gave Anthony Schatz her address and said, "My parents do not come home until a few hours after I get home from school tomorrow." So I guess they were chatting on a Sunday. She gave her address, I believe, on the Sunday. I might be wrong. It might have been on the Monday. How involved was this girl in the whole mess? Yeah, some people think I don't know. I don't even want to go there. Hi, Scott. Yeah, I didn't really promote this because last time I had 500 people at one time, and I would prefer to have 100 people, and now there's 668 people. So hi, everybody. Political trolls in chat. I haven't seen any of that. Anyway. Lauren asks, has anybody come out 100% and confirmed they saw the guy on the bridge and was willing to talk to the public about it? No. The teenage girl has not talked. The flannel shirt guy has not talked. There's a lot of speculation about this guy. I mean, there's all these nicknames. Arguing couple guy. His initials are DP. Some people think that guy could be the murderer, but I don't know. All right, I'm going all the way to the bottom right now. See what people are talking about. Anyone believe bridge guy is taller than 5'10"? Like I said previously in one of my videos, I know a YouTube channel did some size comparison where they went to the bridge. I think somebody said it was on Matt Sullivan's channel. I did not get a chance in the past week to see that comparison, but I think they said their comparison showed the guy was about 5'8". So I don't know. Kelsey said she restored the message threads the hacker deleted from Libby's account. Strange, deleted messages cannot be restored on Instagram. I'm not sure about that, but at what point did a hacker get into Libby's account? I think somebody hacked her Twitter within the past year, but not 2017. Billy has made it back. What time is it? All right, I'll go for 45 more minutes or maybe a little bit longer. Hi, Alexa. If they would have found the bodies at 6 p.m. the night of the murders, the crime scene area would have been less contaminated, more chances of getting DNA or prints. Well, I mean, people have said that there were hundreds of people, even through the entire night. I mean, I would imagine there were tens of people at like 3 or 4 a.m. I don't know that anybody actually went, and I mean, who would have seen the bodies and not reported it? But it seems weird to me because I've seen TV coverage after the murders. They show the red tape around the crime scene, And the area doesn't really seem like it has any spots that are well hidden. So were their bodies covered with leaves? And how did the guy say, I saw 2 deer and I see their bodies from really far away? But I don't know. I looked at the helicopter footage and I could not see anything on the ground. But that footage has there's like a half-hour video on YouTube of like local news helicopter from the morning of the 14th when the girls were found at like 12:15, and it's kind of like cut out and edited. So I don't know, there might have been some footage on there. I did actually try and contact the news helicopter pilot to find out some information about it, but I could not find the helicopter pilot for that news station in Indiana. Did you see that Kagan's prison friend, I don't know if he's his friend, got out of prison and then told everything Kagan said? Said that Kagan told him it was Tony who was bridge guy. I did see that. And it does seem like a lot of evidence is pointing towards Kagan telling a lot of different people that Tony murdered the girls. Yeah, I'm going from bottom to the top here. There is an Apple iCloud you can subscribe to. Yeah, there's been some debate about where Libby's video was retrieved from. Oh my God, there's 666 people watching. Somebody leave quick. Anyway, sorry. It doesn't matter if her video is from the cloud or not, but people obviously have speculated, did the killer see Libby's phone? Did he smash it? Why would he not take it? People say, obviously, you don't want to take it to your house and have the GPS show the murder victim's phone is at your house. God. It's so messed up. The FBI probably botched this case so bad. Yeah. Like I've said a few times, like I don't understand some of the tactics the police have done in this case. It's like they did not ask the public for information on the CPS car until 2 years after the murder. I think they thought they had video and audio of the guy saying down the hill, and they thought it'd be solved really soon if somebody recognized him, but obviously that never happened. Bye, Sue Greggs. Thank you for joining at 3:15 a.m. The effing goat. Kagan did not ask for nudes in Instagram. I'm sinking in my chair. Ow. Kagan did not ask for nudes on Instagram. He would move them over to Snapchat. Yes, he did say that in his interview, his police interview. Over to Snapchat, Kik. That's why Kelsey did not find anything sexual. Okay, thank you for pointing that out. What is going on here? Thank you, my evil twin. I'm sweating. Delete this part from the replay. What if Bridge Guy was really trying to warn Abby and Libby of the murderer behind them and is now too afraid to talk? No, you're not related to me if that's how you think. No offense. Just a quick break. Yes, Tim. True Crime Broads did 2 recent podcasts. So this is about the Missy Beavers case, which after my first Delphi video, I said, don't subscribe. And like 1,500 or more people subscribed. So I felt guilty that I don't have true crime content. So I was like, okay, I'll look at one other case. Somebody suggested Missy Beaver. So over like 8 months, I spent 600 hours looking into Missy Beavers. I did like a nearly 5-hour video on that and failed to solve that one too. So Tim, look for True Crime Broads. Although my comment for that one is, if the boobs don't fit, you must acquit. But I'm not sure about that. You'll get what I'm saying if you listen to them. They think it's some woman, and the police did a search warrant for her that came out recently, but apparently they did not arrest her, obviously. Oh my God, your turmeric story made me laugh so hard. My son came down to see it. It was so funny. So I'm glad somebody got something good out of that. Um, Holly asks, "Are there any other cases you want to look into? How about the Lori Chad Daybell case? Well, isn't that one solved that the mom did it? I honestly don't look into that many cases, and the thought of spending another like 500 hours becoming obsessed with another case and like I'm not going to solve it, it's not too appealing to me, to be honest. And I don't want to just like do recap videos of murders. Like that's not fun for me. The only way I'd want to look into a case is if I can solve it. And it seems like if the police have not solved it and thousands of people online have not solved these cases, the reality of me solving a case is kind of low. So I have started to look into some like other, like trying to find fugitives. I might do a video on that. I thought I found an FBI top 10 guy and it was a mess, but whatever. Let's see. Sorry, like I said, there's so many comments here. How dare you? But I do want to acknowledge anybody who donates. People who will be shocked about who BG is. It's not either of the Kleins, but one or more is involved. I also seriously don't believe BG is Ron Logan. Yeah. Ron Logan is not on the bridge. I have said that a lot of times. Thoughts Arrive said, I think it's very possible that the eyewitnesses did not see the killer. I'm not confident in either of those sketches. Yeah, well, then who is this random guy? I mean, if the guy on the bridge that we see, if it's not Kegan or Tony, and Kegan and Tony did commit the murders, the guy on the bridge definitely does say, guys, go down the hill. And some people have wondered, is that two different guys saying, one guy says guys, and the other guy says down the hill? No, it's the same person. And the police said it's the same person. And that video is only 43 seconds long. And down the hill is said at the end of it. So there's no way like some random other guy came up and said one phrase and one guy said another. Hi, Kelly. Thank you. Let me go down to the bottom again. And again, I'm really sorry for missing people's comments. Hi, hippie chick. Or no, you're different than hippie chick. There's somebody else named hippie chick, but I do know you, hippie. No, I failed to solve them both. Missy Beaver's case needs more attention. I spent 600 hours giving it attention. I failed. My phone number has 666. Yeah. Well, 679. All right. Sorry. I'll try to keep the content related to Delphi. Apparently, Abby was afraid of heights. So, would she really go walking on a bridge for the first time with absolutely no handrails? And have you heard about possible photoshopping? Yes, I have heard about possible photoshopping. Let me take a sip of water. So, apparently, some people, I mean, there's a lot of conspiracy theories. And the craziest one I talked about in my last one, the jet ski, which that was a funny story. But people said, oh, that's not a true picture on Snapchat of that Libby took of Abby at 2:07. I think that was the time. Because on Snapchat, I think some of the theory is the girls were at the bridge the day before and that the families are involved in the murders and they posted that. I don't know. But on Snapchat, it shows the amount of time that has passed since the photo was uploaded. So the girls were missing the night of the 13th, and obviously her friends were looking at Snapchat. So somebody took a screenshot of Snapchat of Abby on the bridge, and it says 7H. So that means that it was 7 hours after the photo was taken. And if the girls took it around 2:07 and people were looking online at their posts at 9:15 to 10:15, that's why it would show 7 hours. So no, I don't believe that it was photoshopped at all. Any other questions? Yes, look into fugitive Robert Fisher. I spent over 100 hours looking into it, and I thought I found him. So I might do a video on that, but I won't get into it. But I will maybe do a video, like one roadblock after another. I could have swore I found him. The police and FBI, I swear, I mean, if you saw my videos, I'm not bragging or anything, but I really believe I gave the most detailed FBI tip in the history of FBI tips. It was like 6 spreadsheets, perfectly formatted. Like, it was an amazing tip, but I might do a video on that, but I still need to figure out if it's him or not. But the police said, oh, we don't have the resources to do this. So that was fun. Anyway, Isaiah, thank you very much. Like I said, I really appreciate anybody joining and especially giving money. I appreciate it. And I did renew my website that has my files. So if you're new to me or my channel, my amazing quantity of 3 true crime videos, I created a website, tomwebster.com, that has just my case files for Missy Beavers and Delphi just to save people time, like my hundreds of hours of research that you can just have for free. Oh my God. Have you looked into Nicole Olson? No, I haven't really looked into any other major cases. I did say previously that I might look into John Bonet next. Obviously, I'm not going to solve it, but the only way I would look into it is if I could ask her dad a few questions, because I got some questions for her dad about that ransom note. Let's see. Oh my gosh. Some of these I'm not highlighting. Thank you for being a mod. I think I'm down to 1, and maybe the other person left, so it might be a free-for-all in the chat right now. Who knows? Dana Carvey, thank you for joining. No, I'm not. I'm not looking to. Would re-examining their bodies now possibly reveal more fingerprints and DNA? I'd imagine they had a fairly thorough autopsy, and for people who are wondering, their autopsy was never revealed. And I don't know why. Obviously, the police want to keep some stuff secret. But you introduced thousands of us to Tobe Lesenby's thighs. Well, some people said that they thought Tobe Lesenby, the sheriff, could have been the suspect. So in my first video, I kind of did a review of him, and he did an interview where he was sitting down, and he had he had pretty thick thighs. And I said, what did I say? No, I said, if the jeans don't fit, you must have quit. And I said something about cellulite. That was maybe rude, but I don't think it was Tobe on the bridge. Did you ever solve anything? Not asking in a bad way. So the only reason I really looked into Delphi is because, like, years prior, I was able to find like information. I mean, I'm not bragging or anything, but I was decent. And I guess if you watch my videos, you'd say, okay, maybe he's not lying. But never any crimes. Although, like, a year ago, so I've started to try and find like fugitives or like hit and run drivers and stuff like that. More recent crimes where they know like either who the person is and it's a fugitive or whatever. So I might do like videos on like tips for solving those crimes. But I know somebody's gonna say, well, if you haven't solved any crimes, why would we take your tips? So one of my techniques is, I know this isn't about Delphi, sorry. I'll get back to Delphi in a second. So one of my techniques is, if somebody's in a hit and run or a crime where they use a unique car, they're going to want to get rid of that car. So I look on Craigslist for a similar car. So a year ago, I saw this drive-by murder, and the car was very unique. So I was actually looking for an update on another case I had looked into. I see this other case, I see this video with this tricked out car. I searched the car on Craigslist within 3 minutes of finding out about this story, and I find the first result is this exact car. There's like 2 like little modifications, and it had been posted on Craigslist 10 days prior. So it was a few days prior to the murder. So I was like, holy, you know what? So I immediately called because I've been trying to solve these cases for a long time. So I was like, let me call the police station. It's in a major city, and I just don't want to like tell it because it's like a gang murder. And the police, I've contacted them 4 times in the past year, and they never reply. So I said, I took a screenshot of Craigslist. I did not want to contact the seller because I didn't want them to be tipped off. So I gave like the URL of Craigslist. I did a screenshot. I sent it to police. And like in 4 times, they never replied to me. I was going to just say effers, but I don't want to curse on this. So yes, in that case, I really believe I found like the murder vehicle, but it's a city with a ton of murders and they're busy, I guess. Thank you. That's the most anyone has ever given me, and it's way too much, but I really appreciate it. Thank you. I obviously hate doing these things, but I appreciate everybody joining and donating. What is your theory about Libby's phone pinging around town, then back at the bridge at approximately the time screams were heard, I guess in the middle of the night? Honestly, I don't know enough information about this to really comment. I guess people said like, I don't know if it was 3 a.m. or what, but somebody said when people were searching, the night between they went missing and the morning they were found, somebody heard screams, but I don't know. I know some people said like maybe Abby had lived until the next day. I don't think that's possible. I might be wrong, but that's just my opinion. So yeah, I don't have a good answer for you on that. I'm sorry. The Missy Beavers channel is True Crime Broads. They have not updated YouTube, but if you look on podcasts, they have their latest 2 episodes where they accuse some woman who I'm sure she's thrilled, but you can find out. That's where you can find out. True Crime Broads. Let's see. So I'll repeat this. I guess there's some new people who have not heard this, and I'm trying to just do content that's relevant to Delphi, but what? Sorry. So about a month ago, I was looking online and I talked about the craziest rumor about this case, because if you've been following it, you've read some crazy stuff. So somebody was talking about the killer escaping Deer Creek after the murders on a jet ski. And I was like, some guy in winter clothing riding a jet ski on a creek in February in Indiana, like people would be like, who the hell is that? So yeah, I don't think that's correct. You're so good. I'm convinced you're a Fed. No, I don't work for the police. I would never work for the police. That's so stressful. Scott, thank you for joining. I saw you were late. I'm trying my best to get you exposure. Keep grinding out content. Really think you're going to hit a home run. No, I'm not winding up with 250,000 subscribers. But thank you, Scott. I know you leave a lot of comments. I ignore all of them. No, I'm kidding. Do the video? What are you talking about? Robert Fisher? Maybe in a few months. Let's respect Jackie's wish and stop with the tone jokes now. I don't know what that's about. I remember some woman, Jackie Johnson, from my June chats. She said I was stupid for not thinking it was Ron Logan. Is she back? Oh my God. Yeah, I have no idea. I'm missing some drama in the chat, luckily, I guess. What? Police said we don't have the resources. Tom said, hold my beer. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Supreme Soviet. I appreciate it. Summer Wells. I'm sorry, I'm trying to stick to Delphi, but when I first saw her picture, she's like a 5-year-old girl who is missing somewhere on the East Coast or in the South. When I saw her picture and her parents, I was like, that poor girl is doomed from the start. But I don't have any real thoughts on that. I've not looked into it that much. Thank you, David. Oh my gosh, I'm so far behind comments again. Stop commenting. I did take a COVID test and I did not have it yesterday for anyone who's concerned about me flying tomorrow. I always wear my mask. We won't get into a mask debate, but I'm thoughtful of strangers. Will I be getting a jet ski in Hawaii on my trip tomorrow? No, I'm too scared to go on a jet ski. I'm scared of sharks. Next. What? But thank you for the donation. Have you heard that any of the suspects were in the KKK? No, I have not heard that. Sorry for repeating, but in case you missed it, I believe, oh yeah, let me just finish this, sorry. I believe Tony's skin condition is called psoriasis. A lot of skin flaking happens, so possible DNA evidence or source. However, Bridge Guy was wearing long sleeve clothing, yeah. And the pictures of Tony, I guess the reason Zachariah is bringing that up, in my latest video, I showed Tony has like on his left arm, I think, around his elbow, there's a very noticeable skin condition, and I wasn't sure what it was, and I asked people to comment, and a lot of people said psoriasis. I'm coming to you if I ever suspect my man of cheating. I have some tips on how to find out. Although Craigslist is no longer used for that, so that was your main source to find out who's cheating or not. You're the female version of me, Mona? I don't know who that is, or if you're even talking to me. Why did I highlight this when I should not have? I'm moving on. Thank you for the compliments. And honestly, I'm missing some of these comments, so I'm really sorry. Do you guys think this is a serial killer or it's the Kleins or somebody else? I'm going to jump to the bottom. Sorry. Where did that go? Hello? Somebody just, oh, sorry. Here we go. They got Keegan. Where's DNA? Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, like how many hours ago? I've been doing this 2 hours and 42 minutes. I said I was going to stop 12 minutes ago. They got Keegan. Where's DNA? He said in his interview in 2020 that he gave DNA. He cooperated with them since February 2017. So Kleins, somebody says not Kleins. Kleins are involved. Not sure. Somebody loves peaches. Kleins with someone else. Yeah. I'll be shocked, honestly, if Kagan gets charged with being the guy on the bridge, if Tony is named as the guy on the bridge, I'll honestly be shocked. I just don't see either of them being the guy on the bridge, or like I said in my video, neither of them wear the same clothing ever as that guy on the bridge. But obviously people said, oh, well, if you knew you were going to do a murder, you would get some other clothes. I don't know. Not a serial killer. Kleins and some friends of Garrett Kurtz. The neighbor, somebody said. I don't want to say their name because some people get doxxed. Oh my God. Hi. What did I give you? Adam Glambert. I'll highlight you. Hi, Adam. Adam, I shouted you out in my other video because I thought you did a really good interview with Kagan's Las Vegas roommate's mom. And hi, Deb. And I said hi to Sunny before. Cloudy Injustice. Kidding. Anyway, where are we here? Have you looked into whether or not there are similar cases that would point to a serial killer? No, I'm too busy. No, I have not. And I'm sure most of you have heard of the Evansdale murders, which were two cousins who also were young girls, I guess, ridden their bikes by water. And I don't know, these crimes are just so horrible that these guys like just murder these girls and leave them. So some people say there are maybe some things in common between Delphi and Evansdale. I know there's like some kind of numerology thing. We were like Abby and Libby were killed on 2/13/17, and these Evansdale girls were killed. I don't know. I'm sure somebody in chat can say it, but like it was kind of like 2/13/17 backwards, which I can't. Was it 7/31/12? I don't know. If that's wrong, I'm going to delete that part from the replay. Why? Why has nobody ever posted video of the Kleins walking? Because Kagan sits all the time? I don't know. Hold on. According to Mindshock, they have already identified the man on the bridge. No comment. Should I comment? I watched, actually, Mindshock used my satellite image from Delphi once. Somebody told me about it. And he said I was a good sleuther or something, a good sleuther Vandross. What the hell is that? Oh, sorry. What is that? Give me a second. Why my phone doesn't make that noise? Oh, it's my rental car in Hawaii for tomorrow. And I haven't packed yet, and it's late. What time is it? All right, sorry, I'm getting discombobulated. What was I? Oh, yeah, I don't like Mindshock's altered voice. It's triggering. Anyway, Kagan said he was waiting in a red Jeep for Tony. Yeah. Brutal punk bass player. Are you a Davey 504 fan? I can't forget about the Garrett Kurtz jailhouse interview with Open Secrets. He said a lot in that interview without saying too much. CM also said a ton without saying too much. I think CM was, like I said, Garrett Kurtz and his girlfriend murdered Garrett's like secret girlfriend, and a lot of their friends were there. And I guess CM is another guy who was involved. And these guys have done various interviews with people, and I think they've kind of alluded to there being more, I don't know. Sorry to like get off that topic, but they seem to say they know stuff about Delphi murders, but they won't reveal what it is. So I don't know. 7/13/12. Thank you, Aspen Connor. So yeah, that's the backwards of 2/13/17. Bye. Thank you. I'm going to be spending my vacation teaching my uncle how to use an iPhone. It's going to be a disaster, and cleaning his apartment. So that should be fun. Is Derek Kurtz? There's Garrett Kurtz. So the question is Derek Kurtz part of Kokomo Group? Garrett Kurtz is the guy who killed two people. Derek German is Libby's dad. Let's see. Oh, so I do still have one moderator. Thank you, whoever you are, for staying around. I'm going to be finishing somewhat soon. You need to work in Quantico. You're missing your calling. I don't know about that, but thank you. So I said this in my last video. Do you think the motive could have been to make a snuff film? which for people who don't know, it's like this horrible thing where a man will do something sexual to a woman and kill her and videotape it. I think they were more popular in this. I don't know if popular is the word to use, but in the 70s, they were more frequent. I don't know what the word is. I don't know. I speculated that if it was a photo shoot for CSAM, like Libby or Anthony Schatz trying to get them to go to the bridge. I don't know that that adds up. And people have said, oh, well, they could have videotaped the murder and put it on the dark web. But I would think even like some guy who's on the dark web would see a video or photo of two girls dead in the woods. You would think somebody would at least make a connection between the Delphi murders or inform police. I don't know. Oh, whoops. Lovely Sphinx. I think that was your question for Murder Sheet, and they left like 9 hours ago. So sorry you missed them. Sasha says clearly Delphi does not have DNA, but Tobe Lesenby said they do have DNA, but obviously it's not a great sample, or it may have been solved a long time ago, because I think they have mentioned that newer technique where you do like genealogical testing where you get somebody's DNA and you use it against like these databases for 23andMe and GEDmatch and stuff like that, like how the Golden State Killer was found. But apparently that's not possible in the Delphi murders with their DNA sample. Sassy investigator, hi. If the Kleins were involved, they would have been arrested by now. Well, what if they are involved and they are responsible? Why have they not been involved, or sorry, arrested by now? I don't know. Hopefully we're going to get answers soon. It does seem like there is some progress in the right direction. I guess time will tell. But it was kind of, for people who did not see the murder sheets before, murder sheet answering questions, they said a murder weapon was not found in the river search. So obviously that would have been good if Kagan said, oh yeah, we threw out a knife. Somehow they were able to get DNA that had the girl's DNA on it. And they said, okay, this obviously is a connection between the murder in Delphi and the Kleins, but apparently they do not have a murder weapon found in the river. Hi, Bella Chica. Who do you think was the target out of the two girls? Well, a lot of stuff seems to be pointing to Libby, not that she is to blame, but like I said in my video, I think Abby is kind of getting lost in this, and she's obviously another victim, and there's no blame to put on Libby, but it seems like it could be possible that Libby chatting with Anthony Schatz did somehow lead to somebody knowing that Libby would be there at the bridge that day, and Abby just going along as her friend may have just been a witness that also needed to be killed. Billy, spell Kagan's name right. Or call him Kagokio. Wait. All right, I'll go 37 more minutes. There's 669 people. Oh my God. All right, sorry. John. Hi, John. What do you think is the strange noise in the bridge guy video, like metal scraping or something? Yeah, so in my first video, which I don't expect everybody to watch my like almost 7 hours of Delphi content over my 2 videos, but I tried to do an audio analysis because police first released whatever, guys down the hill. And there seem to be 2 different versions where in the different one version, it sounds like he says, go down the hill, like go down the hill. And then in 2019, at the April press conference, they released guys at the front. There's some kind of static, and then they repeated the part that had previously been released, go down the hill. So to me, I was like, why would police even leave in that static? And I like used an audio program to try and bring out some stuff even more to see if anything was there. And at first, I thought I heard like a girl saying, trying to leave, like telling bridge guy, we're trying to leave. Like if he said, what are you doing here? Or something like that. Maybe Abby or Libby said, we're trying to leave or something like that. But then I listened to it again. And to me, it sounds like somebody, I guess Abby saying Libby, like with some drama involved, like she was scared. So if you go to the Indiana State Police, they do have these audio files, but I suggest you wear like earbuds or earphones so you can hear it more. It's the space in between guys and down the hill. There is static, but if you turn it up really loud, I'm not trying to like influence people to hear Libby because various people have said other words that they hear. But to me, it does seem unmistakable that it is a girl's voice. And it's like, I don't know why people or police would not have removed that when they released it. So, like metal scraping, people have speculated that there were stones at the end of the bridge. That could have been their shoes making noise on the stones. Or Libby seemed to have put the phone in her sweatpants pocket. And I contacted some guy to try and analyze the audio. And he said, if you move your thumb along the bottom of a cell phone, it kind of like makes a scratching noise. So that could have also attributed to that weird noise. Hi, Jamie. I don't know what kind of nonsense is happening in the chat. I think I have one moderator right now, but hopefully people are acting like adults. And I'm stopping in a half hour. Misbehaved. The clients are pigs, but they are not the killers. It's so much more than that. Yeah, but what more than that? I mean, I've seen people say that. And like I said, I don't see the clients as being on the bridge. But what else? Who else? What else? Give me some facts, sis. I think Delphi and Evansville are in the same county. I think it's Evansdale, and they're not really close. Oh my God. The funniest moment for me was in one of your videos when the police were minimizing something and you put the Shore Down GIF by Marsha Brady. I laughed so hard. Yeah, that was when the police were looking in the Wabash River for 5 weeks and they said it was training. And I was like, no, I said everybody's like, sure, Jan. Because nobody believed it was training. Hi, Lisa. I have trouble believing it was so complicated after the complexity of the bridge in the middle of the day. There's so many things in this case that I can't figure out. Robert Ives was the prosecutor. I believe he was the prosecutor in the county at the time of the murders. He later left. He said there were unusual physical aspects of the crime scene that you would definitely take pictures of. So I guess that's what when I was talking about before, if somebody would videotape this or photograph it, I guess if somebody put their bodies in like a really disgusting way, and because there was talk about them being moved and staged. So I guess police maybe thought, okay, somebody would only do this to maybe take a photo of it. I don't know. Misbehaved said familial DNA they do not do in Indiana. I thought somebody said Indiana may have recently changed some kind of DNA law where they expanded it. I don't know. Have you heard the DNA was dog hair? No, I said previously that the Ron Logan search warrant mentioned something about unknown hairs and fibers. So people speculated, was it some kind of animal hair, whether a dog, horse, cat, that some owner, like the bridge guy or whoever, it came off during the murders. And I don't know. So no, I'm not sure about that. Libby's fingernails had DNA. Are you sure about that? Because they never released the autopsy. I've never seen any confirmation about that. And if anybody ever does attack you, scratch them to get their DNA under your fingernails or rip their hair out. Like, seriously. Hi, Susan. What is your investigative background? I recently said, I'm nosy as F. That's it. What did I say? Oh, I said something like, I'm always in other people's business. Maybe that was in one of my news jokes. Oh, yeah, it was. Tony would not be running in the streets of Peru if he was a killer, Tom. I mean, I agree that, I don't know. Why is he going around if he's going to get arrested for the murder at any day? I mean, somebody showed a picture of him at a race car track like a month or two ago. I don't know. What is he supposed to do? To sit at home all day? Murder Sheet was a shock when they came on. Thank you. Yeah, like I said, they contacted me this morning. Oh, yeah, I did not reveal this part before. So they contacted me on Twitter direct message this morning, and they're like, we want to know if you want to come on and discuss your research. So my reply was no, because I would be a hypocrite, because in my last chat in September, I said, as much as I appreciate what they've released, I don't think they should have released certain things like the Wabash River search and some other stuff, because I don't think it's good for the case. And their response was like, they appreciated my response and said, whatever, they appreciated my perspective and they were fine if we do talk, starting off the chat by saying my concerns, like I don't want to like be fake, which I don't. So, I mean, I thought we had a decent conversation, so I might talk to them, although I don't know what we're going to talk about, but maybe I will watch this really long chat back. And for people who did not get your questions answered, maybe I'll agree to talk to them and pretend like all of your questions are my questions, just so you guys can get the answers. Next. Hi, DC Primetime. Do they have anything to corroborate Kagan's involvement? Well, to me, what I think about that is in his August 2020 interview, oh my God, we're over 700 people. Sorry. Sorry, yeah, I don't like being the center of attention. Starting over. Do they have anything to corroborate Kagan's involvement? What I think about that is the August 2020 interview when Kagan was arrested, the police kept saying, we think your dad did it. We do not think you're the murderer. So it's like, it makes me think, what evidence do police have that we do not know that they think Tony was the killer? Because even at that point, Kagan was denying that his dad was the killer. It seems like just within the past month and a half, he's starting to say his dad was the killer. I don't know. Sleuther Vandross, that's freaking awesome. Yeah, so I thought about the word sleuth and sleuther, and just the way my mind works. My mom was voted class clown and class wit, so even though I'm really introverted, I'm always thinking of jokes. So I thought of Sleuther Vandross would be a good online sleuth name. Hi, I Spy. I can't get past the fact that whoever committed the crime did so in broad daylight. Totally agree. Out in the open. It says a lot about the confidence and/or lack of planning and desperation. Well, if it wasn't planned, well, first of all, sorry, various things are coming to my mind. Lack of planning. The guy on the bridge has a lot of things in his jacket. So some kind of plan was up, whether it was to murder, kidnap, assault, I don't know. Like I've said way too many times, I hate repeating myself, but in my first video, I said like at the top of the jacket, there's like a white thing of the guy on the bridge, and it kind of looks like white rope, like if you turn it in a specific way. So I don't know if it was somebody who thought they were going to use rope to tie a girl's hands together. Was there anything else? Yeah, I don't know that the person, if it's Tony, that they went there to commit murder. It could have been something else that ended up in murder. I don't know what this is. Hi, LA Connection. I mean, Guy went to school with Kagan, and articles particularly mentions his Dropbox CSAM download 21417. Are you sure? I mean, police talked to Kagan saying your Dropbox led to the biggest one of the biggest CSAM investigation rings or whatever in Indiana state history. But I've never seen anything that seems to be you referencing a download the day the girls' bodies were found. Where did this go? How would you feel if you were named after a strip club? Maybe that's why Kagan has so many problems. Hi, Miranda. How do we know both girls were not talking to this fake account? Is it true Abby didn't have a cell phone? So apparently, Abby may have used, I don't know. I don't like to give out false information. My memory isn't that great. There's so many facts in this case, so I don't remember everything. So there's been rumors that Abby may have had a secret phone. She had a secret Facebook account. Her mom did not want her to have Facebook or social media, I think. And I guess she was kind of disappointed, maybe in one interview, that she found out that Abby did have a Facebook account. So something else that came up, somebody said that Abby had an 18-year-old boyfriend and she was 13. Why did I make that face? Sorry. I don't know. To be honest, I think it's so inappropriate that these eighth graders are like looking for boyfriends who are like 19 and 20 or 18. I mean, I'm not victim blaming, but just in general, it's like slow your roll. Yeah, so I don't know that Abby was talking to Anthony Schatz also. Not sure if it's just me, but I have a gut feeling that the Kleins were just not involved. I can't quantify my feeling that this is a false lead. Am I the only one? Well, then why in August 2020 were police telling Kagan, we know it's your dad? So, I mean, it seems like the police are definitely on the Klein train, if you want to call it that. But what I was thinking is like, if it's not Kagan or Tony, do police have absolutely no clue who that guy on the bridge is? Do you think Kelsey is involved? No. And who's ever asking, some people are like watching the beginning and are on the murder sheet part. Like I said, they left like yesterday. I wonder how much video they actually have. Well, the Ron Logan warrant said the initial video with the guys down the hill is 43 seconds. So whether Libby, I'm curious to know how she ended that video. If it was in her pocket, did she like push the side button to turn the power off, or I don't know. I don't know. So I don't know if she was able to maybe even take a second video. I don't know. There's conflicting information about if there's a second or longer video. I'm behind again. Sorry. I'm 10 minutes behind. I think the staging may have been just to throw law enforcement off. A really good psychologist may be the best way to catch the killer. Well, I mean, have police already done that and looked into Tony's history? Where, I mean, if you watch my video or anybody else's content about Tony, like he has a really bad temper, abuses kids, abuses his wife. He bit his wife in the stomach. And some people are saying, I mean, there were searches on Kagan's phone for like 12-year-old girl's stomach. And there's some speculation that maybe either Abby or Libby had some kind of wound or something to their stomach, which is maybe one reason why police think Kagan or Tony are involved because of those stomach searches. And because of Tony one time biting his wife's stomach, and that argument, not an argument where, sorry, I'm losing my voice, where Tony dunked his stepson in the overflowed toilet. I don't believe you're ending this broadcast. 20 more minutes and I swear I'm stopping, even no matter how guilty I feel. I have to pack. I'm waking up at 4:30 tomorrow. Let's see. What's your most likely theory as to why the bodies weren't found that first day? Well, first of all, the girls were last seen on the bridge. So for people, I mean, I think it's totally natural to be like, there's no way they crossed a creek in February. It's like freezing cold. So I can understand how people did not go on the north side of the creek to really look for them. And then it was dark soon after. People were searching with their flashlights. I don't know that people were really expecting to find two girls like lying in the woods. I think at first people thought maybe they fell off the bridge, which I don't know. I don't know. So I don't know. I honestly don't know how to answer your question. I'm sorry. Hi, bud. Are you upset that I'm trying to be funny? It's fine. Bud left a comment about my not being funny. Do you think we are close to a conclusion to this case? Like I said, it seems to be like there is some momentum towards police and Kagan saying that Tony is the killer. So yes, I do think it's headed in the direction of maybe Tony being arrested, maybe a third person being arrested, but it's like, what are they waiting for? What do they need to have enough evidence? Like, I guess Anya before was saying, once you charge somebody with a crime, you only get one chance in court to try them. Otherwise, it's what's that called? Double jeopardy. So I guess police, they cannot screw up this case. So they have to make sure they have every piece of evidence before they charge Tony or somebody else. So obviously I want this to be solved as soon as possible, but I don't know if it's going to be. Mona says, I still can't comprehend how they were killed and moved to another location without the killer being seen. Well, it seems like there was nobody out there at 2:30. I mean, obviously, yeah, I don't want to say her name. I don't want to say that what I'm thinking. The woman whose name begins with a C showed up at the bridge and she and her friend crossed at like, what was it, 3:30? I don't know. So I don't know. It's like, did they see? I don't know. You would think that they would look around and see the opposite side, like on Ron Logan's property, and see a guy, or if Kagan, the latest rumor that Tony went back to the Jeep and said, Kagan, I killed them. I need you to help me. But would people really suspect that two people far off in the woods were like hiding teenagers' bodies? I don't know. Sorry. Mish, it is true that Tony Klein's dog suddenly was no more. I witnessed that myself on his Facebook page. Well, the guy who saw Tony's house got raided February 2017. Like I said, the FBI said in a statement that he was cleared they were cleared the next day. They did not mention the client's names at the time, but they just said the people at that house. And then apparently there's a rumor that Tony's house got raided again in November 2021, a few weeks before this whole Anthony Schatz stuff came out. So it's like, even that, is that like is that a year and a half after? No, that's like a little over a year after Kagan's 2020 police interview where they're saying, we know it's your dad. So why were they raiding Tony's house, I don't know, so long after that interview? What's your opinion on the abandoned CPS building? What about it? I mean, it seems like the police are saying a car was parked there between noon and 5. Was that Tony showing up early, just hoping that Libby was going to show up? With Kagan's, like, is Kagan sitting in a car for 5 hours from noon to 5 while he thinks his dad is doing what? Like hooking up with Libby by herself? He has no idea that she brought Abby. I don't know. I don't know. They never gave confirmation her Libby's nails had DNA. Thank you for all the nice comments. I don't want to highlight them. Thank you, Katie. We're all nosy as F. Haha, thank you. Thank you. I think Tony is one of those people who will go out in public until he can't anymore. He is shameless. Remember how much he has already done. That would cause anyone to be embarrassed for life. I know. It's like, if you looked at his criminal history, it's like, why is he not in jail right now? My contacts are starting to wear off. Tom, some of these people's statements, questions, really, Jan? Yeah, I'm not seeing some of these comments. Sorry. I'll watch back at some point. And like after my last September video, I did watch it back and I pinned a comment at the top to try and answer questions I missed, like the last 2 hours of comments I missed. So I'll try to do something similar over the next 2 weeks or so. Like I said, I'm going on vacation tomorrow in 12 hours and I'm not packed. Should I just stop now? Seems like there's some drama in the chat. Maybe I should just end it. Let me go to the bottom. No, I can't keep going. No, I'm not packed at all. All right, I'm going to stop. I'm sorry. I've been going 3 hours and 15 minutes. Thank you for joining. Sorry to leave. Sorry to not get to hundreds of comments. I appreciate everybody joining, everybody donating. Hopefully there's going to be some resolution to this, like as soon as possible. Any final comments, people? Thank you. Like I said, I really appreciate anybody who donates, but it's not necessary. Sleep is overrated. What happened to what? I'm tired. That's what happened. Yeah, I have to go. Sorry. I mean, 3 hours is a lot of time. Hopefully everybody enjoyed the murder sheet joining. I found their answers to be helpful, although surprising that they said a murder weapon was not found in the river. Can you see the bridge guy has moles? No. Reschedule my flight? No, I can't. My uncle needs me to come there, help him. All right, one more minute. I'm on StreamYard. The actual YouTube chat is lagging. Aloha. No, I'm not in Indiana. I've never been to Indiana. All right, I'm going in 10 seconds, even though I said 60. Bye, Nisi. Thank you for joining. create a poll on your channel so we can vote for potential cases. I said I don't want to do any more cases. I'm 0 for 2. It's like, what am I going to add to any other case? Like I said, I might do like 3 other true crime videos. In my other video, I said I did something cray-cray about Delphi, trying to get Kagan to tell the truth. So that's going to be like a 3-minute video, but whatever. I will do a live chat if there's like some major breaking news in Delphi. If there's an arrest and if there is a trial, I will maybe do like a nightly review of what was revealed, because obviously, like everybody else, I'm really curious to know a lot of these facts that we've all been speculating on for so long. All right, I'm going. Bye. Seriously, thank you for joining. And I'm sorry that I missed so many of your comments, although some of them, it's probably best that I missed them. Bye.